Greetings and welcome to episode 438 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast for Words About Games. I'm one of your hosts, Amy K. Alexandra. I'm joined this week by Hot Tuner himself. It's Daffod Moody.
Wrong shirt, but either way, hallelujah, everybody. It's Friday. You know what that means. It is video game day, the holiest of holiest days. All hail video games. Can I get a hallelujah, Vitz?
No, you cannot. Not for the hail and not for the hallelujah.
Amy?
Hello.
All hail video games, everybody. All hail it. Hail video games.
I was reminded of the Hot Tuner nickname. I was clearing out my personal YouTube
The
channel.
3-star one.
I was clearing out my personal YouTube channel for later use, and like every now and again, I will accidentally upload a podcast to that channel because it's logged in on my computer. So I've got like a few random like draft episodes. Like obviously I published them over there. I had a few random draft episodes saved on there, and I was like, oh, let me just have a quick blast through history. And on one of them it was like, hey, it's Hot Tuna. And I was like, oh, I haven't used that one for a while. I'm gonna use that one.
Tuna.
He's sick of 3-star champ. Let's get this one in.
If you were sick of 3-star champ, I would use 3-star champ.
I wasn't sick of 3-star champ, I won't lie.
No. We're also joined this week by the lone wolf themselves. It's Vitz.
Oh, what's good, gamers? How are we all doing today?
Yeah, pretty good. Can't complain.
Yeah,
I'm on holiday, which is great.
it's always nice.
It is, yeah. I decided not to do any. It's gonna sound weird. I decided not to do any work while I was like on my holiday, because like I've got the script ready, you know, I've got the voiceover recorded, and I was like, maybe I could just do a little bit of editing here and a little bit of editing there, and then I just went no, and I like imagine like I slapped my hand away from the keyboard.
Yes.
Fuck that. Video games. Oh,
All
video
hail
game.
video games. It's
One
the hit
video
video game. All hail video game. The holiest of videos. Games.
But yeah, no. The dominoes that fell. I don't know if either of you have been paying attention to what I've been doing on Steam for the last 4 days.
Yeah, you're playing Origins, you're playing Dragon
Yeah.
Age.
Non-stop, baby. Well,
Yeah,
some
I can
stuff,
see that. It's
some
just
stuff.
like
But I have to keep closing it and reopening it because Dragon Age Origins, it's an old game. I had to download a patch to get it to run properly, like a fan patch, not like an official patch.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
But it has like memory leak problems. The longer it runs, like it'll eventually start
Oh,
like
right, yeah.
it'll eventually start breaking. So like if I've been annoying anyone with like constant like every like hour or two just being like, I'm playing Dragon Age Origins. I have to keep quitting the game and reopening reopening.
I
it
mean,
and
it's
keep
still
playing.
true every time. It's still true. You're playing Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah.
yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Amy's now sharing her library again.
Oh yeah.
like, oh,
This is
yeah.
on off,
Okay.
on off. But it was funny how that happened. I saw the Veil Guard was on sale on PS5.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, you know, when something just like
Tickles the
there's
fancy.
the tickling in the brain where it's like, oh yeah, Dragon Age. And the trailer, I watched the trailer, and it was the one with like the cutscene from I'm assuming near the beginning of the game with Varric and Solus, and you know, you're trying to stop Solus before all hell breaks loose. And then I was
Yes,
like,
that's the beginning of the game. Yes.
and then I was like, But I haven't played Inquisition for like 10 years. And like, obviously, that entire game is quite relevant to that part of the trailer. And I was like, if I want to go in with maximum impact, I want to play that first. So then I can go in and then I was like hovering over the install button on Inquisition because I already own it. And I was like, but I haven't played Dragon Age 2 for even longer. And like, again, it's the same other thing of like, if I want to get the full impact of Inquisition, I want to play Dragon Age 2 because like big things happen in that game.
You
That affect
just-
the next one,
No,
and then
let me guess.
You just read the plot.
and then no, it's not the same. You can read a fucking plot summary. Like, no, you don't get the same impact.
I'm not saying it's the same.
My memories of that game are like 14 years old. The same with Origins, because then eventually I was like, well, I went to install Dragon Age 2, and then I realized I didn't own Dragon Age 2. So I just went, Nah, fuck it. I'll just start from the beginning because I haven't played Origins for a very long time either. And
Are you on Dragon Age 2?
yeah.
I'm sure I own it. I have it installed on my side, so you should be able to get it.
Oh, maybe I do own Dragon Age 2.
Mm.
Yeah, but I mean, you've seen how much I've been playing Origins, right?
Yes, I have.
Do you want to use Steam?
No, I'm good.
Like, you go play Yakuza games on PlayStation for about 3 months while I just, like, blitz the entire Dragon Age. But yeah, no,
I did install a Yakuza 0.
But I just went back to Origins because I was like, you know what? I want to go back to the beginning. And it turns out, I played that game 6 times before the second one came out. And I'm still like, oh, I don't remember this. Oh, I don't remember this either. Oh, this is fun. And I never turns out I had a bunch of DLC I never played either.
Yeah, on here it says for Origins, Amy has played 26.8 hours recently. Dragon Age Origins.
Some of that's idle time. Like, I'll pause the game to go and get some food or something, like, and I just leave the game running. But not a lot of it is idle.
Yeah,
time.
it's
That
not
is
like
a
for
lot.
hours at a time.
No,
yeah.
that was
like sprinting down to the kitchen and then coming back.
there's like, you can take an hour out for troubleshooting, and getting the game to work like 100% correctly. But yeah, no, it was an interesting like couple hours of like dominoes just falling. Where it started with I should play Veilguard, and then I'm playing Origins, and it's such a good game. Holy crap!
Yeah, and imagine like these games are no longer taxing on your PC and stuff.
I mean, not like graphically or anything. Like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like
They
it's
are
not like your
taxing.
PC's also struggling. Yeah,
But no, it's not struggling in any way. None of them will. Like, even Inkression is like 10 years old. What I didn't anticipate when I started playing Dragon Age Origins was how relevant Dragon Age was going to be, like, to the news of the coming out of like video games, where it was like,
oh yeah.
I just stopped playing because, one, I was watching a video about it, and 2, fuck it, I'll go back to the beginning. I want to play the whole thing.
I was going to say, are you going to play all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Back to back.
Like, I'm going to pick up each domino, like, as I'm going forward. Like, I'm already quite far into Origins main campaign. Like, it's a weird one. Like, it has an expansion, and by an expansion, I'm not talking like a 2-hour DLC.
Expansion.
It's like, no, it's like a 20-hour post-game.
And are you going to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I enjoyed the expansion. Plus, one of the characters from Dragon Age 2 is in the expansion. It's like a main character in the expansion. He's a main character in Dragon Age 2.
Nice.
And that's where Varric turns up for the first time. You see how I ended up like following the thread all the way back to the beginning.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
That's very
Highly recommend it. They're very good. Like, they're very different types of fantasy games, the first 3 as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's massive differences between all of them, really.
Yeah, like the first one's like a dark fantasy, novelistic approach as opposed to like a more cinematic approach. And then the second one's like a pulp fantasy. And then the third one's more like a heroic fantasy. So like it's 3 different like genres of fantasy you can get with the first 3 games. And then Veilguard, I don't know. I've not played it.
Well, no, that's awesome stuff. I'm glad you're vibing with all things Dragon Age at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Moody, how was your week?
Been pretty chill, mate. I've just been playing a lot of Football Manager. That's why, obviously, that's what's my topic later on, that we'll talk about. I've just been playing a lot of that, and just chilling and just vibing and everything. Continued watching the latest episodes of the new Spider-Man show. Really enjoying it. Really canny. Me and my partner last night started watching Peaky Blinders for the first time. We've never touched it, but we've always been interested in it. And I remember my mum telling me her and my dad binged it like in whatever amount of days it was one time, and that's very rare for them to do anything like that. They were never bingey watch straight away type of people. But no, they absolutely smashed through it really fast. And yeah, the first 2 episodes were actually really great. Killing Murphy, like if anyone didn't realize this guy's a good actor. Forget the Oscar he won last year. Yeah. Forget that Oscar.
Fuck
he
the
was
Oscars.
already he's a pretty decent actor. There's no doubt about that. But no, yeah.
He was a brilliant Scarecrow. Batman Begins.
Scarecrow.
Yes, yeah. My partner and I were talking about him. Let's see. So, how many films has he been in? And what have been Christopher Nolan's? A Nolan movie? And I said most of them. That's for sure. He's in Dunkirk. He's in obviously the Dark Knight trilogy. Sunshine's not a Christopher Nolan movie.
No, but I'm saying he was in Sunshine. That's 2 Sunshine
beautiful.
references in this year. I'll see how many I can do.
Okay, that's interesting. So like,
Who else was in Sunshine?
4 films there. He was in Dunkirk, obviously Oppenheimer. He was in Inception. So he's in 6 of his movies. That might be 7 off the top of my head. But either way, yeah, it's like he's a go-to for Nolan, and yeah, he's really, really good. But all the cast have seem really, really canny, you know, and for what the characters are and everything, because obviously it's about gangsters and all like that. So yeah.
Before he's
Sam
like,
Neill
gang
is in
crime
this.
is decent. That's what the movie
It's
stands for
decent
everyone.
out here. It's decent. It's a good way of living. I've seen that Goodfellas movie. He starts literally saying how great it is. He always wanted to be a gangster. So it's just like, yo, it's a great
Made
thing to
his
do,
dream happen.
apparently.
That's right, yeah.
Don't have to do anything and whatnot. But no, yeah, it's like Sam Neill's in this, and like Sam Neill's amazing in it. Like, if I forget how actually good of an actor Sam Neill is, because he's barely in, like, he really is in a lot of things these days. Obviously, he did like Jurassic World, the third one, 2 years ago, last year, 1 or 2, which was a really bad movie, and I feel for him for being in that movie and everything personally. But
The only memorable thing I remember Sam Neill being in, other than Jurassic Park, was Event Horizon. And he was fucking scary in that. It's another great film.
Yeah, no doubt. But no, yeah, it's really enjoying it. Continuing Blue Box, the anime I'm watching right now, in subbed, trying to help with my Japanese and everything like that. And it's really good. Yeah, a lot of just chill things really right now.
Hell yeah, love that.
How's yourself, Vitz, may I ask?
Yeah, it's been a good week. Had fun with friends down in central London this week. So yeah, got to grab dinner with some friends who were over from Philadelphia, and then our friend Rahul, he was freshly back from a trip to Japan, so it was good just to swap stories and get dinner, and then had the most amazing pancakes I've ever had from a place called Fuwa in Soho. And I haven't stopped thinking about these pancakes since. So it's been a good week.
Who's just come back from Japan?
Rahul.
I tell Rahul I hate him now, even though I've never met him.
Sure, we'll do. He's going to be on our game show on Saturday, so I'll be sure to pass on.
I'll tell him myself. I'll say it in the chat. I'll say, "Fuck you, Rahul."
Exactly.
What did I do? No.
I mean, I started beef with Robin. And I've never met Robin.
That's true.
The Robin and Chaz beef is just built offline.
I chose to side in that beef, and I don't know if I should have.
Like I'm so involved in that Japanese culture right now, and like my partner and I, like I said late last year, like really wanting to go to Japan one day and everything. So, like, yeah, it's an experience I want to experience soon, and hopefully in the next few years I'll be able to do that.
Yeah,
so I'm just
100%.
It's more jealousy than anything. It's not fuck you, man. I'm literally jealous.
Fuck you, man. Take me with you.
Next time, take me with you. I don't know you, Moody. I don't care.
That's it. How dare nice things happen to you? We should be happening to me. That's what it is.
Question
exactly, Vitz.
Question for the MCU fans in the podcast, which is basically everyone who isn't me. Wasn't Sam Neill in Thor Ragnarok?
He was in Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, he was, Amy.
Sorry,
yeah,
I was like
Thor Ragnarok, Thor, Love and Thunder.
It's like a bit part. So
it's a bit part.
He was him.
And, he played the play,
and Matt Damon.
Yeah, yes. Matt Damon,
and one of the Hemsworth brothers.
Yeah, one of the oldest one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, and you were on fire when you said, I can't remember anything he's been in. I'm like, wasn't he in Thor?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
I just remember Kate Blanchett in Thor Ragnarok, and everything else just slides
she does
out
occupy a lot of the mind space, you must be saying.
She was very good in that movie, no doubt. Just the right level of over the topness that she was for that movie. I thought she was. excellent in
Ragnarok
that.
was, I think, perfectly pitched, and then obviously with Love and Thunder it goes off the rails. But
Yeah. They gave him too much power.
yes,
They didn't. They thought it was a success. That's great.
never
Everyone
go
must
full
fall
Taika
now.
Waititi. Yeah,
Let's let Taika
Or if you
Waititi
do,
do one
make
of the
Jojo
fucky
Rabbit.
ones, and then they obviously didn't watch Jojo Rabbit. They clearly didn't.
I like
So it's
Jojo
like-
Rabbit. But
Jojo Rabbit's a fun film.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
a
obviously
great
the
movie.
source material
So
isn't
great.
great,
but
but
like,
yeah.
no, it doesn't vibe so much with the Thor film. But
Yeah.
Speaking of binging, I went to Keith's the other night.
What did you nick now?
I didn't nick anything.
Hey, I didn't say nothing.
I hung out
You
with
were
Keith.
thinking it though, Vitz. I know you.
Team same brain.
I hung out with Keith and Ross. We played a board game, and then Ross had to go, and we picked a random DVD from his collection, which was Star Trek Insurrection. So we watched Star Trek Insurrection.
Oh my god, that is random.
It was like, I want something on that we've both seen before, so we can just sit and chat while a film plays. But it did finally light the fire under me when I got home that night. I subscribed to Paramount Plus and I watched Star Trek Lower Deck season
I know
5,
what you've done. Yeah.
all of it.
Engage the core.
I watched the whole season like in one go, and then it was like, oh, Paramount Plus. What else is on Paramount Plus that I can watch?
Star Trek.
And then I was gonna like, oh, Twin Peaks. Like I've never seen Twin Peaks, and then my thumb slipped, and I've started watching Star Trek: The Next Generation from the very beginning. It's
was
bad.
like,
The first season is bad.
Yeah. He was like, didn't the creator of Twin Peaks just die? Oh, I should check his show out.
That's probably
Next
why.
Gen, hey, how did you turn up?
That's probably why I was like, oh, Twin Peaks. But then I watched season 1 of Star Trek: The Next Generation. I'm like, holy fucking shit! Like I know it's bad. Like intellectually, I was like, I know it's bad, and I remember it's bad. I watched it, years and years and years ago. But like watching it again, and it's just like, luckily it falls on the okay. This is very entertaining and how bad it is, and I know it gets better. But wow, it's bad. Like. There's the episode. There's the super racist episode, which is like episode 4.
Which is incredibly timely right now for America, so it's all good. It's not that racist anymore now.
It's not just America, my friend. Can I ask when Wesley Crusher has shown up, will show up? Are you gonna like shake your fist at him, saying, "Damn you, you cost me"?
There's an
you cost me points?
there's an entire season 1 episode where like with the point of which is like an alien who can like blast the Enterprise off like 1 billion light years by accident, like stops
That's
Picard.
Q, isn't it?
No, it's the Traveler.
Oh, that thing that he becomes at the end. Spoilers, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's been out for years. Get over it.
It was made in the 80s.
Statute of limitations has passed on that one. Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
But it's like, and the whole point is that for that dude to tell Picard and be like, "Yo, this kid's a fucking genius," and I'm just like, man, like the boy genius thing is really great. Where it's like you've got all these like trained, seasoned Starfleet officers, and you've got this like fucking 14-year-old kid or whatever, just being like, I could solve all of the problems. And it's just like, like, I don't mind that trope, but I mind how often they lean on it. And then there's an entire episode where he falls into the flowers and on the planet with all the half-naked people who like to make out and do the sex everywhere. And they have like one punishment, and it's death, and they're going to kill him. And I'm like, man, if only
should have killed him. That's
if only that needle had found its mark. I would be spared all of this pain.
Is it going to be death or Death My Snoo Snoo from Futurama? It's going to be one of the two.
That's a weird episode too, man. Like, Jesus. All these
really
half-naked people running around everywhere and just like, wow.
Exactly.
Star Trek was weird.
You think?
It started weird, it remained weird.
That's true.
Oh, it's definitely toned the weirdness down.
It has, yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt.
But we did get a musical episode out of it, so there was that.
Well, that was funny. It was funny watching Star Trek Insurrection because that was one of the things I remembered most about.
Oh god, the singing, for fuck's sake.
There's a singing scene.
Worf's just like, no. And he loves singing.
I sung along.
You think about it. It's crazy, but oh yeah. Well, what's your thoughts on Insurrection quickly?
Of the bad ones, it's the best. I'd say it's my favorite of the ones I would consider like, the bad ones. Like, I liked Insurrection.
Nemesis, Insurrection, Final Frontier, Motion Picture, I'm guessing.
Nemesis pisses me
And
off.
all of J.J. Abrams.
All of J.J. Well, Beyond is good. Is actually good.
He didn't direct
Star
it, so
Trek.
it's all right.
Okay, then fair enough. But yeah, no, like
It's the same. It was the same lad who did Fast and Furious. He was Justin Law.
Justin Lin.
Was that his name?
Lin?
Sorry, yeah.
The motion picture is extremely boring. The Wrath of Khan is goat. The Search for Spock is okay. Voyage Home is fun. Final Frontier is funny intentionally, but also unintentionally hilarious. Undiscovered Country, incredible. Generations,
funny.
happened. First Contact.
I enjoyed that one.
First Contact, excellent. Insurrection,
Yes.
good. Nemesis pisses me off because I can see the good film that they almost made.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see a good film in Nemesis, there's no doubt.
I imagine there's like a fan edit available where it is slightly better than the one that the.
I don't know if you can edit it. It just like I don't know if you can.
There's
edit
a lot of
around
stuff
it, like...
that it's a 2-hour movie that would go down to about an hour.
Right.
If you just an episode of Star Trek.
It would just be the last half mostly. Like 2 scenes from the first half to set up the last half of the film.
Yeah. You start with the wedding.
Yeah. Let's just say I'm really glad that Picard season 3 exists because for all its faults, it's a much better send off for like the cast of the Next Generation.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Oh hell yeah. Picard season 3 is a goat season for me. Yeah, I love that.
I was so happy they got like it's not like an asterisk at the end where it's like Next Generation is amazing, but
yeah. I mean, my partner were talking about like Star Trek yesterday as well. It was just like we all agreed, like it was both of us agreed, like Deep Space Nine, that's the GOAT series, always has been, always will be. Nothing can beat it and everything right now. And what's out right now, obviously, it could get beat in the future, blah blah blah. But yeah, it's the GOAT. Even though it has like 3 slow seasons, I don't think they're weak. I just think they're slow, personally. But there's some awesome standout episodes.
It's the best
standout episodes out of the first 3 seasons compared to what Star Trek Next Generation's first 3 seasons is. The first 3 seasons of Deep Space Nine's are goated.
Voyager has some weak ones as well in there.
Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise all have like not great starts. Deep Space Nine probably has the best one of them. Probably, yeah. Which is weird. That's like a common theme amongst all of the series that came out in that like period of time. It's like they all started kind of bad. Thank God for syndication.
Yeah, 100%.
But no, yeah, it's great. Star Trek. Love Star Trek.
Yes,
love Star Trek.
We should. Oh, actually, I'll save that until the end of the podcast. Let me write a note. We should do a podcast about games. Vitz.
Hello.
I didn't really know where you were going with this, so I've titled this section "Vitz's Nintendo Switch Jamboree."
And our title
wins once again.
Yeah. So at the end of a couple of months ago, Nintendo had their internal numbers for at the end of their Q3 for financial year 2025. Their life-to-date sales of some of the most popular titles, and I just wanted to go through some of the numbers and kind of go through the Switch's legacy as we're in the kind of wind down before the Switch 2 drops. And there'll be some dumb execs out there that say, "Oh no, the sky is falling in because Switch sales are slowing down." But of course they would be.
Yeah. No, they are not. They're slowing down, but the execs aren't because their stocks have gone up.
Yeah,
even though they've had a weak year with revenue, their stock has gone up
because
they know what's coming.
Because it's gonna.
Sorry, yeah. When I meant to say, execs and whatnot, not even Nintendo's, it's other people execs who think, let's distract from our dilemmas that we got going on. I'm going to make an out-of-pocket statement about Nintendo over here. But there are some absolute titans of titles which have released for the system, and even if we just take like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a game that came out on Wii U. Exactly, a Wii U game that was a port with the DLC that it came with, and then obviously we've had like the booster course packs, which is essentially another game thrown in there. As of the end of the 2024, 67.35 million copies sold. That is an outrageous number in any given form. But to say that the Switch never got a quote-unquote dedicated Mario Kart, as in like a one that was exclusive for that system, to sell 67 million units of...
I'd say it did.
Yeah.
Like, what, 10 people bought a Wii U? Like,
Yeah.
So the Wii U had what, 13 million unit sales to begin with. So you're going from a small pool to, and then the Switch on the hardware side, I think they were reporting that 150 million or thereabouts. And I know Nintendo have designs on being on
got
Switch
the
being the
sights
most. Yeah, there you go. On being like the most the highest selling platform of all time, and PlayStation 2 currently holds that figure, 160 million. I think at least surpass it if they do the thing where the Switch 2 belongs in the Switch family, like they do with like Game Boy statistics, and they'll just all the DS statistics, and they just lump all the variations of the DS into each other. So I think that record's coming their way. But even so, from 150 million units to 67 million, and it's wild that even over the past couple of months, Mario Kart has still sold 5.38 million copies just in the past couple of months.
Oh, yeah, it's like GTA 5. It's just won't leave us alone.
Yeah, but I'm not fully sure whether, I imagine there are, but like whether the Switch bundles with Mario Kart already packed in a kind of Wii Sports situation where.
Yeah, I mean there are, yeah, sure. Like every Christmas, there's a Mario Kart Deluxe bundle. Well, you got to bundle something up with it. It's not like it's a Wii Sports situation. Like you pay extra money for the bundle with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because it comes with a game. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the 4th best-selling game of all time.
Yes,
ironically, behind Wii Sports, which I don't think counts. That game came with every fucking console.
Yeah. That's it. You could not get it without.
You couldn't buy it without Wii Sports. Yeah. Like if I could buy my Wii cheaper without Wii Sports, I probably still would have bought Wii Sports, but not everybody would have.
But then would the family have all jumped in to play with you?
I don't want to play video games with my family. I'm playing Dragon Age Origins. What makes you think?
The most statement I've ever heard.
What makes you think I want to play games with these people? The other two, Minecraft is the best selling, and then GTA 5 is 205 million copies sold. So
a whole lot of copies.
I don't think Mario Kart 8's going to get that high.
No. And then one of the other ones I want to shout out, Animal Crossing. Obviously, Animal Crossing New Horizons peaked during the pandemic, and that sold 47.44 million units, which is a heck of a lot of units. Teaching all these people who are in their chill out time about enormous debts with Tom Nook and trying to work your way out of them.
The pumpkin stock exchange.
Yeah, exactly.
Buy and sell those pumpkins.
I wanted to give Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom a shout out for selling just shy of 4 million units, being only on sale after a couple of months. For context, Link's Awakening, which was the last game that Grezzo did, the developer behind that, 6.46 million units was after 3 years of sales. So I think for 4 million units for a Zelda-led Zelda game is an amazing figure, and I hope that the team are just as proud as I am of them, because I think it's a stellar game. Obviously, it didn't click at the right time for everybody, but as a unit itself, I think that this game is amazing, and congrats to them. Mario Party Jamboree was the other interesting one to me. 6.17 million, but it's the third Mario Party game which has been launched on the Switch. I would have assumed.
It's a big franchise. It's a bit sure, it's not like the actual like mainline Mario Zelda and stuff like that. It's a big franchise for Nintendo.
Yeah,
it is.
Really is. It does a lot of work. It's like the dance games for Ubisoft all the time. They were always selling well. Yeah, Just Dance. They were always selling well for them, and the same goes for the Mario Party. So sorry for.
I would have thought that like if families are getting a Mario Party, they buy one for the generation kind of thing to say, oh, we've got Mario Party at home kind of thing. But yeah, people are keen for the latest ones, and whether they include some of the the maps and things from classic Mario Party games, which they are nostalgic for, or whether they're just bringing something new to the table, then yeah, good for them.
Oh, it's one. I think one of the 3 Mario Party games for the Switch was focused on like, hey, look at all this cool stuff from like previous Mario Party games. I know the Jamboree was like, here's a bunch of new shit. Like they've got some really cool maps to play, and this one's the first one you can play the board game online, I believe, because I know that was a thing we looked into once a long time ago with one of the other Mario Party games. Like, hey, can we play this online on Twitch? Like, no, but now you can, because I play it with Sadie all the time.
Because Nintendo figured out what the internet was. Let's see how well
it
they
works
figured
really
out
well.
I think the other Mario Parties actually didn't have internet. I don't think.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think this one was the first one that did.
So
which probably drove people to buy this one, even if they had the previous one. And again, this might come up. This theme might come up later in the podcast. It's only 40 quid to buy each new iteration of Mario Party.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, they priced them very well. Same goes for like Zelda. That wasn't 70 quid.
No, it wasn't.
Echoes of Wisdom. It was like, what, 40 quid as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So
like Tears of the Kingdom was, because they could sell Tears of the Kingdom for that much. But like, Echoes of Wisdom was 40, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Like Breath of the Wild still stands at 32 million, and then Tears currently stands at 21.5 million. So again, really strong figures from those, and I'm guessing. Well, Nintendo have been on a streak of releasing a Zelda game every year, whether it is a huge title like a Tears game or something smaller like Echoes of Wisdom, and I'm looking forward to what they have in store for this year.
Wind, can you hear me, Nintendo? Let me play Wind Waker on my Switch.
Do you need that with Twilight Princess?
It's been just 7 years.
Yeah, so like we've heard rumblings from the fan base, at least, that they are desperate for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and the likes. We've heard also that there's huge demand for Ocarina of Time, like a remake, that kind of thing. So whether that comes to fruition, we will see. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, 2D Mario, a brand new title, is it worth 15.5 million copies? That is a juggernaut. And when you compare these kind of numbers to what we see from third-party developers when they're talking about, it was exclusive to one platform, but we only sold like 3 million copies of this title, and how
it really underperformed. It was only on one platform, and then Nintendo's just like eating their fucking lunch.
Exactly.
Nintendo fans buy Nintendo games. Like, you can't say that about. You definitely can't say that about Xbox gamers, and even to these levels, like there's not many PlayStation franchises you could say that to. 100%. Whereas like Nintendo, like I'm looking through like the list of like the best selling Switch games of all time. Like the Nintendo players buy shit if it's made by Nintendo. Fucking Luigi's Mansion 3 sold 14 million copies.
Yeah.
Like Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics is the 31st best-selling game on Nintendo Switch with 4.64 million copies sold.
So I think titles like that, they're also influenced by how dirt cheap those games become, like in basement, like bargain bins at various supermarkets and whatnot, and they'll just be like, oh, you can just pick this up for a tenner, and people will think, oh, why the fuck not, kind of thing. So but yeah, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet coming in at 26 million, which I think is strong. Now I forget whether this is the more broken game than Sword and Shield, but they both are sitting around 26 million, which I thought was interesting.
Scarlet and Violet is the more broken game.
Okay, great.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
it's the last one. It's the last one that they released and everything. It's one of the most sold ones as well. Like when it came out and everything like that, it blew up like crazy. How fast it went off the shelves and everything. Yeah, same goes like for Sword and Shield, even and whatnot. So
yeah,
they all sold very well.
Some of the Mario RPGs, so Mario and Luigi Brothership and Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, even. I appreciate that was like a remake and a remaster, as it were. But Paper Mario sold 2 million, and then Mario and Luigi Brothership 1.8 million, which I think is still strong sales when you consider. When you consider like Astrobot selling from what we know, kind of like short of 3 million copies, and we've got these two titles here, and they can still bang out these numbers. And to your point, Ames, Nintendo people buy Nintendo-ass games, and the attachment rate for the system is redonkulous. The amount of titles that people have, and that's not even talking about like Smash Brothers, which is sold like 35 million copies out there as well. So yeah, I wanted to take my cappy off to the Nintendo Switch, and GG's well played, because these are some amazing numbers from an amazing system, and I hope that the next one has the horsepower to make these games look and run properly, as they should have done.
Astrobot sold 1.5 million copies as
1.5
of
million,
November 2024, which is an interesting number. Might come back up later.
Yeah, so for like a Mario and Luigi Brothership, as you said, like a spin-off game to sell 1.8 million, it swings and roundabouts, and we know how much praise has been heaped on Astrobot. Unfathomably so, but the sales numbers don't necessarily reflect the caliber of what's going on. But yeah, GG's Nintendo Switch.
I mean, it's mad when you think about like the attach rate of like a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's like 67. That's what, like 40%? Like 45% of like all Switch owners bought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But then you think of like Astrobot, which was PlayStation's most highly rated, biggest hype game of 2024. Like, out of 60 million PlayStation 5s, what percentage are we looking at? Like, single digits, right?
Yeah, like 3%, something like that.
Yeah, it's like, it's wild, like the swing in that. Like,
no, 100%.
There's tons of Switch games that are just like casually on the best-selling games of all time list, like Pokemon. Probably not Legends. Like, Legends will sell well, the Z-Way one, but like the next one, which is like the mainline Pokemon game,
the next mainline one,
we'll just casually stroll onto that list when it comes out. Like, whatever Mario game, what Mario Kart 9, whatever next Mario Kart game, like, you can guarantee these are going to sell tens of millions of copies.
Yeah, it's like, do you remember when the Switch first came out in 2017?
I do.
That more copies of Breath of the Wild sold than Switch units.
More Switch, like, for the Switch sold.
Yes.
It was just like,
not just even doing it for the Wii U.
Like, people couldn't get a hold of the Switches, but they bought Breath of the Wild for when they did get a hold of their Switches. Yeah, I remember doing that on doing a podcast topic about it. That was very funny.
But yeah, Nintendo seem to know what they're doing. They appear from the outside looking in, very much so, to be, existing within their limits and their skill set, and they're just nailing it on all fronts. They have the capacity to hold back games and polish the heck out of them. Sometimes for a year, we see with like titles like Tears of the Kingdom, to make sure that they are all but flawless when they do release, and the sales figures back that up. And it seems like, I'm not going to say they have the Midas touch, because I'm sure there are some flops in there, and but it's one of these where it is an impressive legacy that the Switch leaves behind.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't left anything yet. Like, still games coming out for it.
Oh yeah,
still
100%,
gunning,
and
still gunning for that PlayStation 2.
And Nintendo said that they will continue to support the Switch while there's demand for it. And like I said, there's 150 million units out there, so there will be demand for those, because not all of them will be in position, especially in today's economy, to step up the $400 whatever dollars it's going to cost to get into a Switch 2.
Yeah. Plus, like, I mean, no console has ever stopped selling completely after its like success.
Oh yeah, like PS2 sold for many years, even in like countries like Brazil and stuff like that.
Well, that's when I bought mine. Like, I bought mine like after the PS3 came out, because it was like, oh, like, now I can afford this thing, like, and play all of the games that I didn't play, because I had an Xbox and a GameCube.
I was fortunate to have my PS2 was my first quote unquote modern console that I picked up in 2003, so still like after
modern.
Yeah, so I had like a Commodore Amiga 500 Plus, and then I had a Sega Mega Drive, which was definitely stolen, and it fell off the back of a lorry at some point. And the person my mum bought it for did go to jail, but that's another story for a different time. And then I
insist.
And then I was made to stop playing games because education was apparently more important than video games. But yeah, and then by the time I got to uni, There you go. Look what happened. Yeah, and then by the time I got to uni, that's when I decided, you know what, the video games are cool. So I got myself a silver PlayStation 2, and then haven't looked back since.
Nice. Has it just been a straight line through like PlayStation? Like, did you get a PS3 and PS4?
I did, yeah. I was, yeah. There's a small window before I got a PS3 where I had a 360.
Yeah.
Because I think it came out like the year before, and it was just more readily available, and that's what many of my friends had at that point. But then, and because the PS3 was like stupidly expensive, I had to like trade in my Xbox, and then with a ton of games with it and a bunch of DVDs and stuff in order to rack up the third credit to buy one. But yeah.
My
fun time.
Switch has had a great life. There's no doubt about it. Like I say, they're still going and everything, but they've like, with like how crazy it was like leading up to the Nintendo Switch coming out and everything like that. A lot of people like were like, and including myself, I've stated this. If they don't nail this, they're gonna go software, and because they won't be able to.
Oh man,
that's how I always thought. I thought they would go just if the Switch failed, it's going to become a software company, just like what Microsoft's basically becoming these days now for it. But yeah, I'm over the moon that it was a success for them and everything. Like Switch, is a great console. There's no doubt about it. Yes, I have like personal things when it comes to development side and everything like that, but outside of it, it is a phenomenal console. It was incredibly innovative for its time and everything. Now that's making all the other companies, Sony and Microsoft, think now even more. And they've had some great games. Some I haven't played or anything like that, but I can say if you're selling really well, for me, you've got something there that's been making people want to buy the game and everything like that. And they've done that, and like Zelda, Mario Kart, the Mario games, the Pokemon games, and everything, Animal Crossing. All of them, they've all been an incredible success for them, and Nintendo doesn't know what works, and basically their number one thing is as long as it's fun. Yeah. And the games for a lot of people are fun, and that's all that matters. And I'm looking forward to the Switch 2. I can't wait to see what's next for the Pokemon games for Switch 2 and everything, and what else Nintendo have got coming.
Stable frame rate.
It's just the thing is that they had it with bloody Let's Go and Sword and Shield. It was fine, those two. But
wild.
Yeah,
I was playing.
It is really wild. No doubt about it.
You play games on GameCube and they run at 60 frames a second, and you play games on new games on Switch and they run at like 5.
Yeah, but I think what is the thing that I hope is that Nintendo Switch's lasting legacy will be that it will open the eyes to all the other companies to say you don't have to. It's not always about power. It helps, but it's not always about power or anything like that. And I hope that the companies will truly be taking heed of this and just notice this and everything like that.
That'd be
I
nice.
think they're going to have to at some
It would
point.
be very
because...
nice. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to at some point, because we are, and we have been in the area of like residual improvements and just gradual incremental improvements when it comes to technology, because there isn't too much higher we can go. And I know like VR was another avenue that was a little explored and probably not supported in a way it ought to be, in the price of entry is too high and it's not really applicable to everyone because they get the bubble guts and what have you. It's kind of because... So, like, there isn't a huge gulf between, like, a PS5 and a PS5 Pro, and nor will there be between a PS5 and a PS6 kind of thing. It might run things faster, and it might look prettier, but it's not going to be night and day prettier in terms of, well, I need to throw my PS5 out the window, don't mind, give it to a CX or something to trade in. So, I think they'll have to be in a sense of, okay, we just got to work with what we have and make it the best damn thing that we can do, and that's what Nintendo have to do, and all their teams were singing from the same hymn sheet. I'm sure there was some crying out for more power, but you know, we saw what Game Freak did with the power that they have, or what they didn't do rather. But yeah,
hurts Moody psychically every time you bring it up. It's great. No, well, you don't need power. Like, I mean, for starters, like the best-selling games of like every year, like even just going from a sales perspective, like are older games. Like there was that study there was that study that came out last year that people are spending more time playing older titles. Like,
we're both.
I am playing Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah.
Like, does it look good? No. God, like, especially not by modern standards. Like, if I was comparing it to Veilguard, right, or even Inquisition, it's like, it doesn't look great, but you know what? It's an amazing game. I don't really give a shit what it looks like.
No, and we see people, obviously, like Fortnite still has huge concurrent numbers, and relatively speaking to other games, and that thing runs on anything. It doesn't matter if you're running on a phone or a tablet or on a console or a PC, and that you need to be where the people are in those instances.
Like, I mean, yeah, shit. Like, Nintendo make fun. They look for the fun in all their games. I don't necessarily think games have to be fun to be good. Like, I've been on that. I've been on that train for a long time.
Mix, isn't it?
Yeah, but like, it's Nintendo's thing, and it works for them. It works for the people who buy Nintendo consoles, myself included. Like, I enjoy the I enjoy. Hold on, I need to get like swill my thing. I enjoy the occasional Nintendo game from time to time.
You need to have like a pipe as well that blows bubbles.
I was one of those 6 million people that bought Super Mario Party Jamboree. But
I'm familiar with this fun.
But yeah, like, it doesn't need to be a PS5 Pro to like sell. Like, PS6. The important thing about a console is it's just a box that I can play games on. Like,
it's a convenient box.
Yeah, it's like, I don't need fucking horse testicles that shrink when it gets cold. Like, I don't need to see every pore on someone's face to like enjoy a game or to like be engaged or by a story in a game. I'm engaged by the story of a game that came out in 2009 right now. Like, I can't see any pores on anyone's faces, and nobody's testicles are shrinking. Like,
that you can see.
That I can see. I mean, it doesn't run great, but
she hasn't hooked up.
Shit might be
she hasn't
happening.
hooked up with someone yet, so we don't know if their testicles are shrinking.
Or have I?
Or have you?
You're going to say 20-something hours.
No, that technology wasn't available in 2009 for me to romance the bear. And also, no one I'm romancing has testicles, so
that's fair.
I've already locked in my Dragon Age Origins romance.
Cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. It's a mature fantasy in both the good ways, but also some of the bad ways. Like the edgy, like mature fantasy. Where it's oh, look at all these tits. And it's like,
yeah, and then like, this is sexy.
Yeah,
yeah.
Some of the jokes aren't particularly great. We're moving away from the point, but yeah, no.
A little bit.
It's like when you said, Mooney, about like there's everybody talking about Nintendo going third party. I was just like, I remember those. I'm glad we were free of all of those discussions. They give me headaches. Back in what was it?
Time, I thought it was a valid
17?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. At the time, I thought it was a valid argument. There's no doubt. Like, Wii U was terrible for them. It absolutely almost destroyed them. And for them to come out and do this with a brand new console was incredible. And like, I'm over the moon for. I'm over the moon for them. There's no doubt about that and everything like that. But I do believe at that time those arguments were very valid.
I would have agreed, like, that, oh, maybe, oh shit, they really need to have a hit, otherwise they might be in trouble if they didn't also have the handheld consoles. Like, they had all that DS money, man. Like, they were in I wouldn't want to say they were in no danger. They were in very little danger of, like, if the Switch had failed, they would have just made another one, like another console. Like, they were perfectly in that position. And like, but like the frothing at the mouth, for want of a better word, of like Xbox and PlayStation people of being like, we'll get Zelda and we'll get Mario, and I'm just like, it's not gonna happen, pal.
You got Link in Soul Calibur 2. That's the best it was ever gonna
get. That was only in GameCube. Each console had its own character. Like,
it did. Heihachi was in PlayStation. Spawn was in Xbox. Yeah,
Yoda was in because as well.
He was Soul Calibur 4. Yeah, I think PlayStation got Vader,
and Xbox got Yoda. Yeah,
you make an interesting point about the DS and the 3DS line. I think what also worked for the Switch was they just had one platform that people were working on. In terms of all the teams which were previously working on DS titles, they just started working on Switch titles. So you did have game after game after game after game. There was always something new coming to the table, which I think helped a lot.
I think if they had just tried to continue making dedicated home consoles to go alongside the handhelds, I think they would have continued to struggle. Just with like the direction that the market went with like PS4, especially. Like the genius of the Nintendo Switch was like, we've got this massive fan base on the one side, like, and like you look like buy handhelds and like play all the handheld games. What if we bring that to the home console stuff, and we get like, and all of a sudden you've got people like me who doesn't really do handheld gaming. Like even with a Switch, I never really play it out of the dock, and all of a sudden like Fire Emblem, Pokemon, like all these games that would only be available on the handhelds are now like in an arena that I enjoy playing. Like I think that was
there's
the
no
genius
doubt. They nailed it by bringing their biggest audience to the home console part and melding them together. There's no doubt about that. They basically they stuck to what was their strengths, which was the handheld more than anything. I'm not saying they haven't had a great console before. The Nintendo, Super Nintendo, the N64, the GameCube, and everything like that were great consoles and everything like that. But the handheld was the thing that was just exploding for them, and to be able to meld it and to keep the best of both worlds, like you said, Vitz, is amazing. Where you basically they give you, I think ultimately, what helped Nintendo so well, apart from just the amazing games, they give the player the choice of how the hell you want to play it. You want to play it on a big TV, or do you want to play it handheld? You get to choose. You get to decide. Right now, when it comes to console and even PC, you don't really have that choice of that type of thing. Well, you do now, really, with PC, but it's compared to a Switch, it's more expensive and everything for that.
And iffy.
And iffy, it's iffy, yeah.
It's the other genius of the Switch, right? They didn't. They probably could have done like a thing where it's like, okay, on the home console thing, when the console's plugged into the base station, it's like the game's gonna run this and it's gonna look even better, and then like, you know, like an Xbox Series X, Series S like difference. And they didn't. And I think that was a massive saving grace for them, because like you say, it's like you're playing Zelda, right? Like Breath of the Wild at launch. And it's like you play it handheld, I play it on the TV, it's the same game.
Yeah, the only thing different is like the output resolution, but everything else is.
And that doesn't matter because the screen's like a lot smaller.
Yeah, because you're playing
it's
an
like
infinitely
much
bigger screen,
smaller screen, so it's like it doesn't matter so much that the resolution isn't as good. But yeah, no, like the thing about Nintendo consoles, like their home consoles, is like this is going to shock people who base all of their opinions on sales and figures, but like every single Nintendo console has been good. Like the library's been there since the NES.
Yeah, that's why we've had so many amazing remasters from the Wii U title being brought over to the Switch, and then people are like, "Oh, this game's amazing! It always has been."
It always was when I played it. When I played it in 2013 or whatever it was, when I had a Wii U, why didn't you buy a Wii U? You could have played this game 10 years ago, you fool. But yeah, no, like the N64, which, you know, didn't sell amazingly, that had an amazing library. Like the GameCube sold even worse. That had an amazing library of games. Like the Wii, arguably, I don't know if it had the weakest library of games. It had the most diluted library of games because there were a lot more games coming out on it for like third-party stuff.
And there were all those broken-ass ports of it. Yeah, 100%.
Like, ooh, let's add Wiimote functionality to Dead Space. Like, okay. Why not? Sure. But yeah, no, like I just wanted to throw that one in there. It's like all the console libraries. Like this is the thing Nintendo have always done well. It's like no matter like how well or badly their consoles or their handhelds have sold or not sold, like the library's always been there. It's always been consistently strong.
Yeah, that's one thing Xbox and PlayStation can't argue with. I think, especially with how bad the PS5's generation is right now, and even like how bad the Xbox One generation was for Xbox. Like, they haven't been able to.
Well, that's kind of the thing, isn't it? It's like you've got Nintendo. Nintendo is Nintendo. It's his own thing. You buy it for Nintendo games. You don't buy it to play third-party games. Maybe it's indie games that come out on it, and you can play like Stardew Valley, like in bed, right? Whatever. That's an amazing sales pitch. But it's like the way I look at like console owners, like people who don't just buy like one console to play COD or FIFA every year, but like you have a Nintendo if you're interested in playing Nintendo games, and then you either have a PC or you have to buy another console to play third-party games. So, you know, like Dragon Age, for example. It's going to be on my mind for a while. I'm going to mention it a lot. Sorry. but like, which one do you pick? Well, you pick the PlayStation because that's the better console.
Yeah.
And that's where I think Xbox is losing out. But and why Nintendo the Switch continues to sell so well. And then you just got all the handheld fans buying it. They just unified the user base. It's great. You love to see it.
No doubt. No doubt.
I had a fight between January and March. Well, probably not even March, in the summer. You guys weren't on the podcast back then. Because January
good
was
if you get to fight something. Good.
January. Well, I had to fight everyone I was on the podcast with. Like January from the reveal in January, everybody said the hybrid handheld home console, what a terrible idea. And I was the only person on the podcast being, no, I think it's really good, actually.
Amy was right.
I'm just throwing that one in there. It's like, got you.
Wasn't, correct me if I'm wrong, I never had a Wii U or whatsoever, so I can't answer this properly. And I never even played it at all. Wasn't that part hybrid anyway, that you could connect it to a TV? No, okay,
No.
That's fascinating.
The tablet didn't come with you.
Yeah, you couldn't take the tablet away from the console. It was like a second screen. It was like, imagine I remember there was this one cool game I played, Kirby game. It was like you've got the game playing on the TV, and the platforming was like you drew lines on the screen on the tablet
thing was
to like
the controller.
Yeah, so it was the controller, but it had a second screen on it, like Zombie U. In Zombie U, it was like you're just playing like the Zombie U game, but like your inventory and stuff is open on the screen on the tablet, so you could hit it. Project Zero had a bad implementation of it, where it was like when you use the camera, you hold the tablet up, and then you start looking around, and it's like, good God, like there were some bad ideas.
So for Mario Kart, the track map would come up there, and you'd be able to see who was on there. And the whole screen was a big button for a horn.
The screen was just a horn. You just hit. It was very funny. Beep, beep, beep. I'm pretty sure Wii U, wasn't it? You could only have one tablet running on a console at the time. So like even if you were playing multiplayer, your friend couldn't bring their tablet over and you could both play on tablets. Like it was like the ultimate like someone getting the third party shitty controller. It was like when we used to play Smash Brothers. I had the tablet, and Keith had a Wii remote. Oh man, that was where the amiibo came from as well. I had a bunch of amiibo, and like you play them on Smash Brothers, you scan them into the tablet, but they leveled up and they learned your fighting style. So my amiibo started kicking my ass in Smash Brothers, and I was like, all right, we're not having this anymore. We're going back to regular computer players.
The students will become the master.
Yeah. I'm terrified of Peach. But I was never very good at Smash Bros. It's amazing that we went through a whole Nintendo topic there and we didn't mention Smash Bros. Once till now.
How much does that sell? Did it say on it?
It's the third best-selling game on Switch.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it once. Yeah, 35.88 million copies.
Yeah. Oh, that's a mizzle.
The game I have, but I haven't really dipped into yet. Maybe I ought to.
I've never really been much of a Smash fan.
Yeah, neither have I.
I like a different kind of Smash, if you know what I mean.
That's what you're trying to get on Dragon Age Origins right now.
I'm trying, succeeding. It's like Mass Effect. It happens at a certain point in the story later.
Yeah, Liara throws herself at you.
Mass Effect 3 for you.
Yeah, Mass Effect 3. That's how it went down.
Amy went dry throughout the first two games.
Sure did.
And me, I was just I was banging anything in
Let's
that game.
do it,
games.
Everyone. You. You
You're
like
hot,
Dragon
you're
Age.
hot, you're hot, and you're hot. Let's do this.
You like Dragon Age. You can do that a lot in Dragon Age. There's a lot of that. It's
Power
dark.
of the orgy
Remember,
compelled
it's dark
me.
fantasy. You can have one, yeah. We'll talk.
It's what Vilgard was missing. It was missing an orgy. That's why I didn't sell.
I wouldn't know. But I
wouldn't
will
know
soon.
either. I'm just taking a guess. I thought we would know, but the internet would say, "It had an orgy, you should have sold."
So no, did someone actually try to make that point on Bluesky? I'm sure I saw a post about it. It was my friend Patrick.
What, that I was right? That the game failed because it didn't have an orgy?
No, not that it failed. That didn't have an orgy. Patrick was on Bluesky. He mentioned like if you'd been able to romance two characters in the game like at the same time, it would have been like the Baldur's Gate 3 bear moment on social media. And I'm like, I don't have context for who these characters are or what goes on. So like, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But the bear thing was definitely a big boost for Baldur's Gate. So maybe he's right.
Sure was.
So you're saying they should have allowed you to have sex with an animal instead? When did it start coming Twilight?
It's not Twilight.
When the internet let their freak flag fly.
Let their freak flag fly. Okay.
Yeah.
You remember when Bowsette happened?
I referenced Bowsette a couple of weeks ago.
I want to say that was the moment companies that weren't Nintendo
That was the watershed moment, wasn't
started
it? Yeah.
paying attention to the fact that they could mobilize a lot of people on the internet very quickly if they appealed to their horniness. And I think from there, like where it really cemented was with Resident Evil.
Yes. Lived through the Mutresk did many things.
And then I think that was like the second watershed moment. And then from there, you'll notice that a lot of marketing is appealing to the horniness of the internet. Like the bear scene in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. Or Karlak in Baldur's Gate 3.
Or Karlak in Baldur's Gate 3.
Or Shadowheart
In Baldur's Gate 3.
The list goes on and on.
Very horny game.
So Mass Effect 5, compelled to the horniness.
Somehow EA will screw that up as well, don't
Yeah, they will.
I don't want to think about Mass Effect 5.
It's not a live service game. You can't do that.
It makes me sad when I think about Mass Effect 5.
It's all right. They have 2, maybe 3 people left at BioWare working on it. It's going to be great.
Hey, one person made Balatro. If he can do it, then we're going to make a game.
Yeah, sure. As long as, Mass Effect 5 is a card game, we'll be fine. Should we do a little halftime? And then we can do the rest of the podcast when we get
please. I'm kind of getting smothered.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're getting assaulted by a dog. For audio listeners, by the dog.
Yes.
By the dog.
It's not Moody's partner coming.
Audio listeners, just picturing, Sophia's creeping up behind Moody with a sledgehammer.
Moody's like, the punching bag's back there.
She's behind you. Oh, no, she isn't. All right. We'll be back in a few minutes. Peace.
What's good, everyone? My name is Vitz, and I've been working on something special. It's time for Vitz Popstar, the all-new game show on Twitch. Nothing left on us beyond, with your specialist subject. Watch new episodes live on twitch.tv/VitzPatel.
And we're back. And it's time for Indie Game of the Week. This is the thing we do every week where we talk about a cool looking upcoming indie game that we think you should go check out, maybe his wish list. If you like indie games, we've got an entire Steam curation page listed. The link's listed somewhere in the description, wherever you choose to listen to or watch this podcast. You can click on that. It's got every single indie game of the week we have ever done, which is well over 100 games at this point. We just had a game that was a previous indie game of the week come out.
Yeah.
It's got 2 reviews on OpenCritic. They're both 10 out of 10s.
We know how to pick them.
God damn. If this continues to get 10 out of 10s, imagine the game gets 100 on OpenCritic. Close it down. It's done. We found the perfect video game. We don't need reviews anymore. And we will be vindicated for our taste in indie games for all time.
Wait, did we ever need reviews anyway?
Still got to find that perfect game, right? That perfect 100. Ocarina of Time was close.
Yeah.
Just need one more point. That's all. Anyway, it's time for Indie Game of the Week. This week's indie game is Inkression. Ink, Ression. or just click the link in the description down below at the Steam page. Inkression is described as follows. Nortown, a once vibrant community, now faces imminent demolition to make way for a bustling commercial hub. Its residents must now find new directions for their lives amidst this upheaval. As Millie Somerville, a detached tattoo artist who sets out to complete a forgotten wish from years ago, you'll explore Nortown and learn the past and present of its people through the remnants of the neighborhood. Got a few bullet points here. Witness your surroundings' true color as you receive newfound impressions. Record stories through new tattoo designs based on your impressions of the neighborhood. Practice your skills as a tattoo artist at the blindfolded. Give your clients their desired ink as you learn more about them through chit-chats. The intersection of different lives, struggles, and decisions intertwining to tell the story of an everyday neighborhood. So it's like a narrative game.
Yeah,
I haven't done one of those
Moody,
in any game of the week for
they
a
did
while.
use the words true colors in the description, so that might get you interested.
Yeah. Right there, True Colors.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a spiritual sequel. But this one's
Maybe.
about tattoos. But yeah, no, it's a narrative indie exploration game. It's got the story-rich tag as like the #1 tag on Steam. I never really know what to do about that tag. Like, I never know how to feel about the fact that it's there because it's like, game's not out yet. Who's calling it story-rich?
There is a demo available.
I mean, sure, yeah.
I'm not sure how rich a story is in that demo, but there is one available, so you can get the vibes.
But yeah, you get the vibes. The vibes are tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's almost time for Next Fest as well. Looking forward to seeing what gems I can unearth.
What cool rocks, exactly.
What cool rocks I can find. Bore these to you with. Like, look at all this. Look at all these cool indie games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's Inkression. Story told
yeah.
through tattoos.
Go wishlist things.
Go wishlist that thing. Links in the description. And while you're there, maybe just go buy an indie game.
Mm-hmm.
Off of that list. I hear there's some good ones on there.
10 out of 10 ones.
There's 10 out of 10 ones on there. And I mean,
Numbers don't go higher than 10. We know this.
exactly. Like, everyone's always complaining, like, ooh, 9 out of 10 must be shit. Well, this one's 10 out of 10.
They explored the scale. They want one higher than everybody else.
But yeah, that's indie game of the week. Can't wait to see what I find for next week. More cool rocks, I guess. But for now, should we continue with our regularly scheduled podcast as if indie game of the week isn't regularly scheduled? I mean, the clue's in the name, but
Yes, ma'am. It's our topic now.
it
We
is.
want to talk about capitalism.
I want to talk about money and football.
Capitalism.
Well, I want to talk about £70 games, and for all of our listeners who live in other parts of the world that aren't the UK, I'm going to be sticking with pounds because that's where I live. That's the money denomination that I have to live with. So you might have seen the story going around about Dragon Age: The Veilguard missing its sales expectations. For some reason, the games media and most of social media sort of glommed onto the Dragon Age part of the story, when I feel like there was a much bigger part of the story, which was that also the game formerly known as FIFA has also performed below expectations.
They really threw Dragon Age under the bus on that one.
Yeah, it's like EA was trying to like distract people from the football game, which I think is a bigger deal. Not missing it, like not hitting its sales expectations, and wow, did it work? But you know what? As a certified reader of things on the internet,
No, you just go off the headline and you make your opinions based on that.
that's for everybody else's. That's my secret of it. I click on the headline and then I read all of the words that are underneath the headline, and then I absorb them. And then I come out with all of these weird things to talk about on the podcast. It's like everybody probably expects me to be like, Dragon Age missed sales expectations. Why? And I'm like, no. I'm going to delve into a topic that I know loads about, as Moody can attest, football. Big football knowledge over here. But yeah, no.
To balance out Amy sticking
the Americans,
soccer.
Yeah, I was going to say, to balance out Amy sticking to Great British Pounds over here, I will be referring to soccer for the rest of the show.
Okay, that's going to be awesome. I love that. Let's do that. But yeah, no. So the EA did their quarterly financial earnings thing. Andrew Wilson said a bunch of fucking gobbledygook, which I've actually...
Keep away from Disney, Andrew. Keep away from Disney. I've got my eye on you.
But here's the thing, Moody. Segue. Side talk. Sidebar before I jump into this. If Andrew Wilson leaves EA to go to Disney, that means he'll have left EA. Which means Mass Effect 5 might be good. There's a better chance if he's not there. There's a better chance if he's not there.
Not survive than get Mass Effect 5.
Disney's going nowhere.
That's true, but it will die under Andrew.
Because I will kill it.
Yes.
Yeah, they did their financial earnings. They talked about, all sorts of things. It's very difficult to follow CEOs when they talk to shareholders because they speak a completely different language. But I picked up some lines that Andrew Wilson talked about that a lot of the press, the games press, didn't seem to run with. And I thought they were quite interesting.
Journalists, not doing journalistic things.
Yeah, I want to say I wasn't the only one that picked up on this stuff. Like, when I say stuff like this, I'm never the only person that's picked up on this. I'm just going to throw that out there. But yeah, so I picked this up from a VGC article. So I'm just going to read a bit like the old days when I used to read news stories all the time. Andrew Wilson, says the two main contributing factors to EA Sports FC 25's low sales expectations is what we're talking about. Wilson says the two main contributing factors to this were, quote, soft top-of-funnel acquisition, end quote, a lower number of newcomers joining the series for the first time, and, quote, a lapsed engagement later in the quarter, end quote, with players losing interest in the game sooner than usual. He also explained that more players than expected continued to play EA FC 24 instead of moving over to FC 25, leading to slower growth in the newer game. Quote, while early acquisitions started out strong, post-launch acquisition cohorts waited longer in the cycle to apply the new title, as many stayed in prior iterations. Combined players in our full HD experiences were flat year over year. This mix shift and slower newer player acquisition account for about half of the title's underperformance versus expectations. Softer than expected engagement made up most of the rest, end quote. And if you're wondering what the fuck I just said, I translated it for you.
Yeah, thank you.
So it seems that more people than EA anticipated stuck with the previous game in the series. The game sold well at launch, but sales dropped off faster than they were expecting, unless brand new players bought the game. So players who hadn't played FC 24 buying into FC 25. And I left a note here saying it's still worth noting that the game was the 8th best-selling game of 2024 in North America.
Yeah, but the number always has to go exponentially up.
Yeah, it was the best. It was the best-selling game in the UK. It's always the best-selling game in the UK. I always like to shock Americans with that statistic. You just assume Call of Duty is the best-selling. It's never been the best. It's always been FIFA. We love football over here. Some of us do anyway. Which I thought was fascinating. So I was like digging around, looking at like old sales numbers of like games that have recently come out. Like I paired this with another game that came out recently that did some stuff. I'm just going to read a bunch of notes that I made and decided to turn it into a podcast topic. So Dragon Age Veilguard, which was the other game that Wilson talked about, which had numerous other potential reasons for missing its sales target that I can get into later if you want, and I'll put an asterisk there if you want me to talk about that later. It had 1.5 million players and EA expected 3 million. It launched at £70. So did the FIFA game. Not FIFA. EA Sports FC 20, which, by the way, can I just say, is a fucking terrible name for a game.
Yeah, it really is.
Like Madden, NHL, NBA, EA Sports FC. Come on. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth missed its sales expectations on PlayStation 5, but it enjoyed, quote, a strong start when released on PC, which I thought was interesting considering it's priced at £65. However, when I went on Steam Spy, I noticed that it had a launch discount which priced it at £45 and 49 pence. And then if you compare this to the recent success of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which has a note next to it, which isn't a game I would ordinarily support, or rather its Gamergate supporting CEO isn't. Yes, I still do remember that. Ooh, thanks for the note, Amy. That launched at $49.99, past 1 million sales on its first day. So it's probably close to passing 1.5 by now.
Yes.
Helldivers 2, which is a game that cost $34.99, was the third best-selling game in North America in 2024. So, have we reached a point where the £70 price point of AAA games is costing sales? Now, I think it always has, like, since the games have gone up to £70. My question is, to the point where now even FIFA is missing its sales expectations.
Yes, in the sense that I think more players are, these continue to be unprecedented times, both like economically speaking, geopolitically, and all the rest of it. And people aren't necessarily getting paid more, therefore they have less disposable income. And if a title isn't demonstrably changing and upgrading things, especially in an annual franchise like EA Sports FC, my God, that's a terrible name. If it's not moving the bar in a kind of large and measurable way, then it doesn't necessarily want a full £70 purchase. And it's one of these of the rosters are broadly the same in terms of, there's no new football clubs being added that I know of, or ones of any consequence kind of thing. So, all the major ones are going to be there. And it's not like, now we've got Real Madrid because Real Madrid wasn't there in the past. No, I imagine they were always there, that kind of thing. And it's kind of, if it's just, okay, now the players are in the right teams and whatnot, as they should be for the domestic leagues and what have you, then yeah, I think it's £70 is a lot of money. It always has been, but now it's even more. And to your point, yeah, I agree with you that it is impacting, and we see where titles have come in at a quote unquote budget price that they are seeing roaring success, and it helps that those titles happen to be newer experiences as well in terms of Final Fantasy Rebirth aside, that is still a sequel to a beloved game in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and obviously it's building on the lineage of Final Fantasy VII itself. And then with Kingdom Come Deliverance, that was a highly anticipated title for those particular fans. And then Helldivers 2 came out of seemingly nowhere, but it was in the works for like 9 years on the back of that. And it seems to be the one live service, quote unquote, title that has actually worked for PlayStation. So there does seem to be, I don't want to say it's necessarily apples and oranges, but there is a difference between comparing the notes for EA Sports FC versus a title like a Helldivers 2 or a Kingdom Come Deliverance.
That's fair. Like mostly the comparison I was focusing on when I was like looking into this was literally just the price. Like, I get that.
1,000%.
Like, I get like that. There's other reasons why like games can miss sales expectations, like PlayStation, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth only being on PS5. Which it only has an install base of about 60 million. So there's not very many people there to buy the game. Bloated development costs, absurd sales expectations, marketing, like I know there's other factors to it. It's just like it was just one thing that I kind of noted. Like the spark in my brain came from seeing the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 sales like celebration, I guess, and just sort of like, oh, how much does that cost? Less. And just thinking like, is it a thing driven by the price of the video game in a meaningful way?
Yeah, 100%. Moody?
I think what you said, Vitz, is pretty spot on the part of like there's a lot of contributing factors going on at the same time here. Of like people not getting pay rises. Companies also just having way too high expectations for games and everything at the same time, and the constant need to always have that line to go up saying you've made a profit and everything. And other factors. I'm getting attacked by my dog. Give us 2 seconds.
Yeah, no, like I wouldn't have included Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at all, given Square Enix like routinely sets sales expectations. If it just wasn't for that one part of like, oh, it's apparently doing really well when it was selling cheaper on a new platform.
I don't disagree that the £70 tag will have some factor in it as well. But like I said, I think there's many factors all going off at the same time here. If it was just the £70 factor in it, I probably wouldn't agree with it because I think all the other factors would be completely out of it. Like we would have good pay rises, people would be in good jobs and everything like that.
Sure.
And so on and everything. But when it comes to, there's no doubt about it. I don't like it. I don't like the £70 factor whatsoever. I think it's just disgusting, really, basically from the companies and everything. And that's why, like, when we saw from when we spoke about Nintendo's topic when Nintendo earlier, that they have a balancing act when it comes to all their games. And I'm not gonna lie. There was the last Zelda game. I wasn't surprised was £70, and I was okay with it. I didn't criticize Nintendo for it or anything like that. I won't lie, that for me on my end, because. Sorry, give us 2 seconds here.
No, it's all good. I think with the Tears of the Kingdom, at least from my perspective, there happened to be a like a generational game. That was a special title, and it kind of. For a better word, it warranted that elevated price tag, and
I think there are
no
games,
doubt about it.
I think there is definitely games that can, for want of a better term, get away with it. Like GTA 6, for example, could charge £70 and will not see.
They charge 100. They can do whatever they want.
If you charge 100, I think they might see some negative blowback from that, but I don't think it would be enough to offset the extra £30 that they would get. Because like there are people who will not be able to afford an extra £30 for a video game. It's just not in their budget. But I think they could charge 70 and see like nothing. Like, you know what I mean? In terms of like whatever sales expectations they've got for the game, like in terms of units, like it wouldn't dent it. Whereas like something like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which the remake sold well in part because it came out when we were all locked in our houses with nothing to do.
That's it.
I think part of the missed sales expectations, part of it, I believe, is due to the price of the game when it came out.
Oh yeah, and you couple that with the budget and how Square Enix do things is their sales expectations are based on, okay, if we took the development and marketing budget of a video game and we instead put that money in the stock market, would it have made more money than the game sales? And that's how they balance it out, which, I mean, it's up to you to listen in terms of whether that makes sense to you or not. I guess my question is, when it comes to all of this, is from EA's point of view, would they have been better off selling the game at £60 and then quote unquote losing £10 off the 70 they had charged versus losing £70 in total because you haven't sold a copy of the game?
Yeah.
And would you have been better off doing it that way?
Yeah, that is an interesting question.
I think it's also that I wonder at the same time as the chickens come home to roost when it comes to the quote unquote soccer game, EA FIFA game, whatever the hell they call it now, for it, come home to roost because everyone says it every single year. It's the same game. There's nothing new to it. It isn't at all. They may get some better graphics or whatever later down generations and everything like that, but it basically is the same game over and over again. And I think there's only so much. I think there's a element where that could be a factor as well, where it's just like, I already own last year's game. It's the same as this year's game. Why should I buy it? As it took them a long time to freaking realize this. Maybe, no doubt about it, because I've been tooting that horn for years and everything for it. Same goes for like Call of Duty. 9 times out of 10, it's basically the same game and everything. It's the same combat mechanics that they have in there. Yes, are they dubbed to be some of the best combat mechanics out there? I get that and everything, but it is basically the same game and whatnot.
With COD,
excuse me.
With COD, I think you can get, and I'm not defending.
You can't get away with it because it's different era.
You get a different campaign every apart from that 1 year it didn't have one, which was strange. But like with FIFA, it's like, well, it's football. Like I assume, with my vast knowledge of football, that football hasn't changed that much in the last 100 years.
I've been telling them for years, add multi-ball.
Where's
when
football
it's like a 0-0 game, just add a multi-ball
too.
That's it.
But I think
and then it would make the game more exciting.
But I wonder that, speaking specifically on EA Sports FC, to what you were just saying about the game not changing very much, I wonder if that is coupled with, and you want more for it this year, but I've already got the old one. Like, we'll just keep playing the old one, which is what happened according to Andrew Wilson.
The other killer thing about EA Sports FC is that the real moneymaker is Ultimate Team. What used to be FIFA Ultimate Team, I'm ignorant as to what it's called now, kind of thing. Whether it's just
Ultimate Team.
I think it's still called Ultimate Team. Yeah.
And I believe this was the case in earlier iterations. I'm not sure if it's the case now, but from year to year, your Ultimate Team wouldn't carry with you, or it wouldn't stay with you from game to game.
It never carries. Never carries.
Yeah, so then if you've spent £60 to buy the 2024 version of the game, and you've then invested money in Ultimate Team and all the rest of it, and you've got your players and you've got all the people you want in your teams and what have you, and then not only are you asking for more money off the back, but then you have to rebuild from scratch. And I know that 2K do this with their NBA franchise series as well, and 2K is another publisher which is mired for the amount of money grubbing that they tend to do, kind of thing. But it's kind of the ask just gets steeper and steeper if you ask me to rebuild from ground zero each and every time, and now you're asking for more money to jump into what is essentially the same game with negligible graphical. Yeah, exactly. And now it's got a new hat. It's about Stacey all over again.
I think also something that I thought might potentially happen for this game and franchise and everything like that was the power of a name. It's simple. It was FIFA for the longest time. And I know that may sound silly and everything like that, but I think a lot of people still say it's Call of FIFA. But when you see it as it's just EA FC, whatever the hell
looks
they
like
call
a knockoff game. Yeah, it sounds like a knockoff version.
It does. It does. It screams a knockoff version, even though it's the same company making the game and everything. But I've always thought internally to myself that I think them not negotiating or paying what FIFA wanted, and I can't remember what the number was.
They wanted like billions of dollars.
Yeah, I know. Which I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. FIFA's bigger than EA. This is the thing. EA may think they're bigger, but they aren't. And I can understand why they wanted that mode. But that's neither here or there. I'm not going to argue.
I would imagine, to your point about FIFA, I would imagine more people pay £60 to go and watch a football match every week than play EA Sports FC 25.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Especially if they're in the Premier League teams, some of those teams have expensive prices for their tickets and everything. So I think it's just a multitude of a lot of factors going on here and everything like that. There's no doubt about it. He's over inflating it and over exaggerating the whole thing as always. That's what a CEO does and everything, and he wants to make us cry wolf from, oh, you didn't make your money, oh, you poor billionaire. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I did make the note that it was still one of the best-selling games of 2024.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, cry me a fucking river and everything. But EA's been like, for the longest years have been, I think this is happening to not only just EA, but I think it's happening to a lot of gaming companies out there and everything like that, where I think just a lot of games, I think just a lot of people are just like, is it how much kind of time consuming for them? But I think it's also just like a lot of it is very samey. Like the game last week when we talked about the Xbox one, I can't remember, the South by Midnight one. It looked, like I said, it looked like something we've seen from many, many other games before, and that's why I'm kind of, if it wasn't in Game Pass, I think it would be dead on arrival, personally, and everything like that. And thankfully, it is in Game Pass and whatnot for it. Even though it's on, what did you say? I think Gamey last week it was £40. I think they're selling it.
Definitely not a £70 game.
Yeah, I get that, but and that price tag's brilliant and everything, and there's no doubt about the £70 price tag. I think overall, even though I could understand it for like certain Nintendo games and everything, and even like certain Sony and Microsoft games, I do understand it for it. I think it's still an extraordinary amount to be asking people to be paying in a cost of living crisis all over the world and everything. Freaking barely able to. Sometimes you're asking. We've seen many of things like have happened politically of those people like saying, "I can't freaking feed my children. I'm choosing to not eat just so my children can eat and everything." And you want me to pay £70 for a fucking football game? Fuck off!
Or just anybody.
The other. Sorry, I was just going to say, so the other thing which is also brewing is as the president of the United States keeps mooting around tariffs and whatnot, one of the other interesting things he's talking about is the tariffs on production of goods coming in from Mexico, where a lot of physical games are printed and then they are imported into the country and then shipped out to various retailers. And if the tariffs get applied there, then the physical game market is done. And then
you
therefore,
don't want that. Like I know we've
100%.
been I know we've been charting like the decline of like people buying physical games. Like let me tell you all right now, even people who are like 100% all in digital, waving flags and screaming about it from the rooftops, you don't want the physical game market to disappear.
Because then there's no checks and balances for the digital stores. They can charge whatever the hell you want. And where else are you going to go? You have no other option.
Yeah. Like
CD keys can't do you that much. That's it. You are done.
Well, not if the base price of the game is inflated.
Exactly.
CD keys will match that. They have to, because that's how people who sell keys make money.
The only way they'll survive, basically, if they wanted to. And like the company that you, Amy, used for renting Boomerang, they're dead.
Done.
They're dead. That company will die.
That's what I mean. Like, look at all the remember that story we talked about last year about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? A ridiculous story. I can't remember who ran it. Where it was like, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is already 25% off in the UK. And it's like, yeah, every game that launches in the UK physically launches at a discount from whatever the RRP is.
Yes.
That's why people still buy physical games in this country. If you're smart,
100%.
you get them cheaper. And then you trade them in if you're Vitz.
Oh, yeah.
You get Astrobot for like $5.
Exactly. Bargain of the century.
But also, it's the companies. Also, all these companies need to really stop focusing on the part of freaking you have to be in the office to do the job and everything like that. Because you're complaining. Big companies are complaining of prices and everything like that. They put their companies for some idiot reason in the most expensive places to be able to put your company and everything, and it's just like. So it's difficult for people to even give them a shit wage as well, and you're expecting them to move down, move their family if they have a family, the whole shebang and everything. No, and that's why people are screaming to like at least allow a hybrid, at least minimum of or remote it, or allow to remote, because it'll make things a lot more cheaper for them at least. And
you have such job security at studios like BioWare and EA.
Oh yes,
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. BioWare's not dying at all. Nothing wrong with them whatsoever. And then, but like, it's just, I think also it's just like I said, for the South of Midnight, a lot of games I think are just a lot of same for a lot of people. I think IP franchises can get away with it for an extended period, which I think Assassin's Creed has now hit that period for it.
Twice.
Twice in 2 generations. What a fucking shocker that is. And I think it's just like, I think there's just so many factors going on here. But £70 is just it's too high. There's no doubt about that.
I think another factor, if you wanted to throw another factor, another major factor in there, would be the development, the length of development. Where you saw like Dragon Age Veilguard. Sorry, there was a bug. Where you saw Dragon Age Veilguard being developed over 10 years, and it's like EA is setting their sales expectations in part to try and like recoup the cost of making a game over 10 years. And like, it's not unusual for large games now to have development cycles of 7 years. That's a lot of money to invest in it, which leads to the samey game issue, whereas like games all look the same because no one's taking any risks, because
you can't afford to take risks.
You can't afford to take risks. Not everything's going to be Elden Ring, right? Like, not everything's going to be Balatro. But
also, let's not forget that game started as a live service game, and then they pivoted massively after their failure with Anthem and everything. So it's like that whole game was probably delayed 4 years longer because it was pivoted to live services.
Yeah, I think there's like I noted it in the other reasons for Dragon Age specifically. One of the notes I put at the bottom was like it was like 10 years between Dragon Age games, which didn't help for people who were fans of the series like me and Moody, who both haven't played it yet. but the length in development time note is more like a general note for like all the games that go through these massive development cycles that can't recoup their costs quickly enough for CEOs and investors and sales expectations, which I think is a big problem because, as we've seen with BioWare specifically, like they've had layoffs, air quotes, and layoffs, not air quotes.
Yeah, but for context, many of the team at BioWare, so all Dragon Age is now considered end of service, and the team that was working on there have been redistributed amongst other EA studios as like support for Battlefield and so on and so forth. And then the only team which are left at BioWare now are working exclusively on Mass Effect. And they came out with like a strangely worded quote that even Mass Effect doesn't need the full studio support, which is why they've kind of scattered everybody else to the winds, and we'll see how that goes.
Because it's in early development. Like the comment I made about that in our Discord was not necessarily defending EA. Like you see it whenever you go from one major project to another major project, there's layoffs, and that's because like you've got 400 people, let's say, for the sake of argument, working on Dragon Age Veilguard. And then as you're spinning up to full production on Mass Effect 5, you don't have enough work for 400 people. Now, the sensible thing to do would be to let 200 people make something small. Like, hey, a tiny little game that you can sell for like £15 or $16.75 seems to be the new one on Steam for small games. Like, you just make something in like a year, and then sell that. You might make a little bit of money off of this like micro budget game, and then we're ready for you to come back and work on Mass Effect 5. That's not what usually happens. What usually happens is the studio will just lay a bunch of people off, and then when they spin up their production on Mass Effect 5, will then start hiring again for the positions, like, which is an interesting tactic. And I use the word interesting with heavy sarcasm there.
Yes. You're treating developers like mercenaries.
Yeah, what EA have done is they've just moved all of those developers that they were probably going to sack onto like different studios that are like further along in production on things like Battlefield, for example, and laid off a bunch of people as well. I don't want to diminish the fact that they did lay off people, including like I think every member of the Dragon Age narrative team is now gone from the studio. I think Dragon Age is done at EA as it stands right now.
For now,
I think BioWare's done.
Soon. Yeah, it's
I don't feel comfortable speculating about the studio right now because we don't know what the fuck's going on.
We don't, but these are just the vibes that I'm getting.
Yeah.
And they might be off base, but those are my feelings.
BioWare had a shit decade. Let's just be frank. Basically, they had a shit last generation as well. But it started really well for them. They released Dragon Age Inquisition, which was Game of the Year for a lot of people and everything that year, and was sold incredibly well. Then Andromeda came out and got a massive backlash. Didn't sell very well. Then they went to Anthem, which just didn't do anything.
It sold. I was going to say it sold. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, but didn't do what we know what the year.
It may have been ahead of its time. Put it that way.
Yeah, and everything.
In more ways than one.
But ever since then, the only other success they had was the Mass Effect remaster that they put out, which obviously I'm thinking basically went, all right, we need Mass Effect back, get Mass Effect moving and everything like that. We need a Mass Effect 5 type of thing. Excuse me. And then obviously the constant delay of BioWare Dragon Age Veilguard from a live service to a live service.
From a single player game to a live service game back to a single player game.
Yeah. It just destroyed it.
Well, I think
took all hype from everybody. Like we saw a teaser trailer
a long time ago.
8 years ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Probably about the time Dreadwolf, which made a lot of sense because just where the story's going and where it ended in Inquisition and whatnot. But that doesn't even seem like that was the game that ended up getting made for understandable reasons. Like there was a fantastically sarcastic series of tweets based on.
Well, were they you?
No, they weren't me. They were the former creators of Dragon Age, former Dragon Age leads, who don't work there anymore. You know how like there was that quote that kind of got taken out of context, where everybody assumed Andrew Wilson was like, Dragon Age would have sold better if it was a live service. Whereas Wilson, again, not meaning to sound like I'm defending the guy, he sucks, but like he was just kind of talking broadly, very generally. David, the former Dragon Age creative director Mike Laidlaw posted on Bluesky, "Look, I'm not a fancy CEO guy, but if someone said to me the key to this successful single-player IP success is to make it purely a multiplayer game, not a spin-off, fundamentally change the DNA of what people loved about the core game to me, I'd probably like quit that job or something." Which, you know, it's funny because that's exactly what happened. He did do that because they did say that. Laidlaw just said, just thinking out loud, of course, who'd be silly enough to demand something like that twice? And then David Gator, he was also one of the leads on the Dragon Age series, also posted, "If I really dig into my empathy, I can kind of see the thinking. Like, let's say you don't actually know much about games. You're in a big office with a bunch of other execs who also don't know much about games. What are they all saying? Live games do big numbers, action games are hot. My advice to EA, not that they care, you have an IP that a lot of people love deeply. At its height, it sold well enough to make you happy. Right? Look at what it did best at the point where it sold the most. Follow Baldur's Gate 3's... follow Larian's example and double down on that. The audience is still there and still waiting." I always like those two posts, especially the sarcastic one. Like, if someone said this to me, I'd quit. I'll make my own game. Call it Eternal Strands or something.
That game looks good. I still need to dip into that demo.
I really want to play it. Yeah.
To your ultimate point, where you started with in terms of now asking for £70, slash $70, whatever it is for games, and obviously that's the reaction from people, companies feeling the need to make more money in terms of we need the numbers to go up, we need it to exponentially go up, and we're dealing with inflated costs associated with developing games in the first place, and it's unreasonable to kind of pass that cost on to the end consumer, where you should be as good business people to say, okay, how do we optimize the kind of production line to make more experiences that we can still sell for £60 but take 3 or 4 years or even just 3 years to make, and then we could do more of them, and then we wouldn't have to have this cycle of spinning up and laying off a bunch of people. If we just did things properly. That is a wild concept.
Like you said off at the top when we were talking about the Nintendo thing, of just like all the other companies are like shitting themselves when it comes to like the Nintendo thing of offering of the part of like their stock's just gone down, but yet somehow not the stock, their sales are down, but their stock has gone up because everyone is excited for them. No one is excited for an EA stuff. No one is excited for Ubisoft stuff, or the Microsoft stuff, or even the Sony stuff, really. There's a couple of games, and everything like that, but that's the thing about it. There's just a lack of excitement.
There was a lack of excitement for Veilguard as well.
The thing is, Veilguard went out with its arm missing and a black eye straight off, straight off, with all the shit from the pathetic right wingers straight away from that game, and then and all the other shit and whatnot. And it's just the whole game has had a shit time all the way from pre-production to production to post-production to release. Is at a shit time, and it was never going to do what the EA would have wanted it to do.
3 million apparently.
Yes. The last bullet point you've made on here, I think is a salient one, and it works. It's worth discussing.
About Dragon Age,
yeah. Just in terms of people in our condition to wait for games to turn up on an EA Play or a Game Pass, that kind of thing.
It's not, because with Dragon Age is in an interesting position, right? Because with other big games, it's like maybe it'll turn up in Game Pass, right? Maybe it'll turn up on PS Plus. I'll just wait. Whereas with Veilguard, it will definitely come into EA Play in about a year, which means it'll also come into Game Pass. So, like, how many sales did you lose or cannibalize from that strategy? Because everybody knows it's going in a year I'll just play it again.
It's not like there's a shortage of games to play right now.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? It's like if you keep putting the prices of brand new games up, it's like, guess what? I'll just buy some games in the Steam sale and play some games that I missed. You know what I mean? Like Dragon Age, like the whole thing about triggering me to play Origins was Veilguard went on sale, and also I didn't buy it because I thought, well, it'll be on sale again this summer when I'm probably getting around to actually playing it. Like I think there's this interesting movement where people are becoming more comfortable, like more people are becoming more comfortable with actually playing all the games, like, and just going, actually, you know what, I can wait, like, for a game, like, or let me just see what's in Game Pass, like, oh shit, this game came out like a year ago, 6 months ago, and I never played it, like, oh, this game is 50% off. Like, I don't think it helped that in the summer, like, all of the other Dragon Age games were 90% off. Like, I think that might have devalued the £70 a little bit. When every other game was like £3.74.
Yeah, what do you mean? I paid 70p for this last week.
But it also goes on like what we've all said at the same time. There's just, which you just mentioned, there's too many games. Like this month alone, you've got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Next week you have Civilization. Then the week after that, you have Avowed and the Like a Dragon Pirates Yakuza game, along with Lost Records, which is dead on arrival. I'm just saying that right now. That game is dead on fucking arrival. And then a week after that, you've got Monster Hunter. And I think overall, out of all those games, even though I am I'm in a full mode Yakuza game these days right now, Monster Hunter is probably the most anticipated out of all of them. Even though I'm really happy to hear that the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was reviewed incredibly well and has also sold really well at the same time. So from what they've talked about and everything, and it's just gonna get even more worse. After that, you've got the Split Fiction game.
I'll be interested to see where that goes. Like, just purely from the so how much of It Takes Two's like phenomenal success translates through to Split Fiction, like, because it's not like it's called It Takes Two or It Takes Three, right? Like, I'll be interested to see that. But from what the games that you just listed there, like, I think there's an interesting. I know we're supposed to be talking about Football Manager, but there's an interesting distinction to be made. Like, Monster Hunter is going to be the big game. It's going to be huge. Like, since World, Monster Hunter explodes. Sorry, Vitz, let me just get this out. Whereas I think Civ 7, Kingdom Come...
It's a separate thing, I can get.
Well, that's something. I think Civ 7 and Kingdom Come... what were the other games you talked about? There was a third one.
Avowed, Like a Dragon, Pirates...
Like a Dragon,
Pirate
yeah.
Yakuza,
I think those three games aren't targeting millions and millions and millions and millions of sales. I'm sure they would like to have millions and millions of sales, but I don't think they're going to miss their sales expectations. I think the Yakuza pirate game has been made on the relative cheap. I think Civ 7 is going to find its audience, its own niche audience, and I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is going to find its own niche audience. Whereas
so you're saying Avowed's dead on arrival?
I think Avowed's got Game Pass. I don't think it matters. Like, that's the thing when talking about Xbox Studios games. I don't think it matters anymore. Like, I don't know how to have that conversation when Game Pass is involved. But I think when you look at, like, Dragon Age Veilguard, it's like fantasy RPGs are still pretty niche. Like, you'll get ones that explode in popularity every now and again, like Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3. Whereas like EA is looking for more numbers than is actually there. And I think that's where the 10-year gap comes in, because Inquisition sold 12 million copies. But that was 10 years ago. Like, that game came out 10 years ago. And I want to be like, I'm going to say something harsh about a franchise that is probably one of my favorite franchises in gaming. How many people still give a shit?
Yeah, it was a much smaller market back then to sell.
Yeah, no doubt. That was in the first 2-3 years of the PS4, Xbox One life cycle, which a lot of people were complaining that didn't have many games.
10 years is a long time to still give a shit about a franchise that had a lukewarm reception, whose first trailer wasn't very good. Like, how many people watched that first trailer and just went, oh shit, well, at least I've still got Inquisition.
I liked it, just so you know. Yeah, I liked it. That's it. I stand by it.
That's fair. I mean, hey, I'm going to play all four, so, you know.
I agree. There's also, like, what we've already talked about. I'll say right now, but we'll push my topic till next week. We might hear something by then. No, you don't have to apologize whatsoever. I'm into this right now. Like, I agree with you with the Like a Dragon one, but they have set their model up to be able to recoup their costs really easy because of how easy, I say easy, how relatively easy they make their games to be able to get them out really fast, you know? Like their new game, which is Project Century, that's a whole new thing and everything. So they're probably that's been in development probably for quite a few years and everything, with a whole new engine, a whole new assets and everything that they've had to create and everything. But I'm very intrigued to see what they're going to do with that one. But obviously, yeah, Yakuza, Pirates, Yakuza, and Halloween. I've said that.
You did that last week as well.
Hawaii, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Jack Skellington's coming up there.
It's they're taking all the assets what they had from Infinite Wealth, which is great and everything, and this is what the industry really needs to get back to. Like I stated last week, like why they feel like it's a bad thing that they do this anymore. It's insane. But yeah, but it's also like the same. These are all. Let's just say this right now. Kingdom Come. It's like a 30+ hour game. Civilization 7, that's as many hours you want to put into it, I guess. Avowed probably is a 20-30 hour game. Yakuza's a 30-hour plus game. Those are a lot of hours. That's all I'm saying for a lot of people. And whatever the fuck Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be, probably a 60, 70, 80 hour. I guess ultimately it comes down to how many hours you want to play into it. And again, you don't have to if you don't want to do this type of thing, people. But when the games, this is where the companies, I've always been saying, companies, you need to be really thinking of shortening your experience to get for a quicker buck for yourself in an easier time. Like what the old CEO at Sony was saying, or he's been touting for the last few years since he's left.
Sean Layden.
So Sean Layden.
Yeah. That was more for my benefit. That was more for my benefit than everyone else. Because I was like, wait.
I'm not gonna lie, I keep forgetting his name. I don't know why.
No. Just in case our dear listeners were thinking, Jim Ryan. Is that right?
Yeah. Jim Ryan.
The host.
Not that twat. Not that British twat. No, Sean Layden. Yeah, it's the industry really needs to kick up its ass, and maybe the companies losing money will give them a kick up the ass. It won't.
That's the only thing that they react to, though.
Yeah, because
they don't give a crap. So long as they're still making money and making more money than they need, then nothing will change. The only thing that will affect them is the bottom level in terms of take their dollar away from them, and that's it. That's when they'll actually make change.
We've been saying it for years, though.
Unfortunately,
but we need the industry to crash, for a better word, before it can build up again in the way that's sustainable.
I hope not.
I don't know,
because I like video games and I like the people that make video games, and I don't want to see them all lose their jobs.
Do I? But it seems to be we're in a.
Well, there's an issue. This is definitely a different topic. The issue is, I think there's a lot of sentiment out there that the indie games will save us. And like, I was going to say, like, as someone who knows indie developers, there's no money.
Yeah,
for
who's
them.
Investing in them?
No one is funding like independent development.
Yeah, there's not enough big ones out there that become massive successes like Balatro did last year, and other games like Hades and many more just can't come to my head right now that do that and everything. But even like then, Hades didn't sell compared to what EA all wants their games to do and what Ubisoft wants their games to sell and everything like that. So it's like it sold what that company needed that game to do, and everything else was just gravy for them, which is hopefully going to pop out Hades 2 in an incredible state when they release it, hopefully 1.0 this year, right, guys? For my fantasy critic. No other reasons for it at all. For them to do that and everything, so it's like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of moving plates going all at the same time, and just like any one of them could fall and hurt.
I think
really hurt the
ultimately,
industry.
I think ultimately what the problem boils down to, like, if I wanted to apply like a broad, like, this is what's actually wrong, I think the problem at the AAA CEO or C-suite executive level is there's a thought process that they deserve isn't the right word, that they are entitled to the money, right? Like, I'm a Dragon Age fan. I should have spent £70 on Veilguard at launch instead of not doing that because I couldn't afford it because video games are expensive and I don't have a lot of money. And old games are expensive too, and
Yeah.
most of those
That's
are
why
mine.
she steals so many of them.
Most of those are mine. But like it's like there's this thought process that video games are essential. Like, from people like Andrew Wilson, like, people will keep buying video games in the millions, like, no matter how much we charge for them, because, like, what else are you gonna do? Play all the games? Read a book?
Yeah.
Stream all of Star Trek on Paramount Plus for $7.99 a month without ads? Because that would keep me busy. That would keep me busy for a long time.
That's a lot of Star Trek. That's a lot of shows.
Star Trek. But no, like there's this entitlement to people's money where I think that's what drives the thought process that Dragon Age Veilguard will sell 3 million, or we could put the price of video games up to £80 or £90 or £100. Like, it's the only way we will recoup our costs. We couldn't possibly just stop making video games over the course of 7 to 10 years, like we used to.
Reduce the scope.
And like Vitz says, make more smaller games more frequently.
Is like, has none of these people ever thought, we could release 2 games at £50 each and make more than selling 1 game at £70?
No.
It's like, how is that not a thought that's occurred to them? I
don't know.
Video games, eh?
I don't know. I don't want to make this like a country by country thing, but like I see so many like Japanese studios doing this in a much smarter way. Like we talked about RGG. Like they've got this Hawaii map. Well, let's fucking do something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just had a quick research on myself here. So Mass Effect 1 came out in 2007. Mass Effect 2 was 2010, and then Mass Effect 3 2012. So they got a trilogy, which has been highly regarded overall, out within a 5-year period.
Dragon Age was the same. Dragon Age Origins came out in 2009. Dragon Age 2 came out in 2011. Which, like, I don't hold Dragon Age 2 was developed in 16 months. I don't hold its development cycle up as a shining beacon of what the industry
they got
do.
Mass Effect 3 out with 2 years after Mass Effect 2.
I read the book. I read all the stories about 2. Like, let's not do that. But it came out in 2011, and then Inquisition came out in 2014. So, like, and then Veilguard came out in 2024. Like, that's not sustainable. Like, one studio or one part of one studio, whatever the fuck was going on, spent 10 years making a video game. They made the other ones in 7, like the other 3 in 7 years.
Yeah,
and we get that. The demand for super high res textures was less back then. You had to make fewer assets and the things like that as well. So we are taking that into account when we're just looking at this example off the rip in terms of look how many titles they did make in such a protracted or a reduced amount of time. So,
and also the original release schedule for Mass Effect 3 was 2011. They were meant to get it out 2 years after the sequel. That's insane.
Yeah, it was delayed. I remember that.
Yeah, it was delayed to March.
Everyone
6th.
lost their shit.
It's the end of the world.
Not in a modern day lost their shit. I mean, like,
yes.
No.
Exactly.
How great Mass Effect 2 was. Everyone's just like, yes, Mass Effect fucking 3, get in there.
Well, Inquisition
back on it.
Inquisition only took so long because they switched to the Frostbite engine.
Yeah,
that's the only reason that game took as long as it did to come out, because they had to build.
Yeah.
They had to build all of the tools to make an RPG before they could then make an RPG.
The thing is, though, EAs have had have had incredible success. So
I imagine they have.
Success. Incredible success.
Yeah.
With a lot of their IP, Star Wars has been incredibly successful for them.
But, well, the Jedi games have been incredibly successful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Battlefront still sold incredibly well, even if they got a lot of backlash
I think
on them.
Battlefront sold a lot. I wouldn't go so far as to say the Star Wars license was incredibly successful for them on the whole, given
Yeah, I think they
everything.
They botched it.
They may have botched it, but still, they were still incredibly successful.
There's a
with
reason
them.
they're not making any more.
Well,
apart
they
from-
don't have the
apart from
license
Jedi
anymore.
games.
They don't have the license.
Yeah, there's a
anymore,
reason they don't have the
basically,
license.
Yeah, why was it
Yeah.
taken away from them? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they brought
this
the
is
House of
thing.
Mouse into disrepute.
Yeah,
Oh
you pissed
yeah,
off
oh
Bob
yeah,
Iger,
they
he comes
did.
hunting
Jesus,
for you.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
they pissed off. Yeah,
It was that one
They pissed
senator
Disney
guy,
off.
the Star Wars themed
Yeah.
gambling. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
And as Disney is against gambling and all that shit, they're just like, excuse me, you motherfuckers. You
we have a
pissed off
word?
Bob Iger, he comes for you.
yeah. Can we have a
You
word with
piss
you,
off the
Mr.
mouse,
Wilson?
he comes hunting.
But like the problem is, like, you can have great success, but we're at a stage now where companies like EA don't want great success. They want unprecedented success, and that's all they'll settle for. And again, you have to recoup the development costs of a Dragon Age Inquisition, which was in development for 3 years, or the development costs of Dragon Age Veilguard, which was in development for 10. So like right away, it's like, well, even if everything was linear and inflation didn't exist, that's more than three times the cost.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 2 came out in January.
It did.
That's what a random month for them.
I think that was it delayed? Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. That's too far back for me.
Mass Effect was initially released on Windows 360 by.
Came out on PS3, which obviously
That was the
added
first one on
development.
PS3. Yeah.
Yeah, the sequel one.
That's the one I first played.
That's fair.
And that's where Microsoft and PlayStation played nice, where they allowed Mass Effect 1 into the PS3.
There's an alternate universe because Microsoft published Mass Effect. That's why it came out on Xbox only, and they published Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. There's an alternative history where BioWare was bought by Microsoft in 20 whatever.
Yeah.
Before Mass Effect 2 was put into development, and then probably closed by now, because that's what happened to most of the studios Microsoft bought back then.
Yeah. Yeah, the writing's probably on the wall before they release the game. In terms of you're not in the long-term plans, it's fine.
Well, they closed everyone. They closed Lionhead, and then made a new Fable. It's like, okay.
Like the Mass Effects 1, 2, and 3, I would say roughly about a 30, we'll say 35, 40
they're
hour
each-
games
yeah,
overall.
30 each.
All three, I would say.
Depends how you play them.
True, don't deny that. But,
Oh,
I
is
would
that
say-
all they're supposed to be?
No, but compared to what you see with games all these days, saying it should be 60, 70, 80, 90 hour games and everything like that, for people to be able to get the money days,
The pounds per hour.
the pound,
thing.
yeah, basically, and everything. But they throw this great trilogy out within 7 years of itself, and people were timing, crying out to them to remaster it all together, which they eventually did. Like I said, it was a successful when they did it. So it's like, I don't know, the industry's fucked.
For audio listeners, myself and Vitz both nodded with those that thing you do where you put your lips together and your eyes go wide.
Yeah, and your eyebrows go up. That's
Your
right.
eyebrows go up.
Sarcastic nod, yeah.
No,
both jib the camera at the
I
same
think we were-
time.
yeah, I think we were both in agreement. I don't think there was anything sarcastic about it.
Yeah, my topic can be pushed. Next
One
week.
one last thing as well is, like, we talk all doom and gloom about Dragon Age being done, and it's sad because I think that series has a lot of untapped potential. But I think it's important to recognize that a lot of the people that worked on that franchise don't work at BioWare anymore. And also, that just because this franchise is probably dead doesn't mean what came before is now worthless. Like, if you've never played Dragon
Yeah,
Age,
it's not a reflection of that.
if you've never played Dragon Age, and it does suck that there might not be a new one, but there's 4 whole games right there. And if you want a few months worth of, at least, and that's playing them at my speed, not normal person speed. Like, if you want a year's worth of video game, Great video game.
You
Check
said you're about halfway through it already, and you've only been playing 26 hours.
I also know where to go and what to do. Like, I it's important to remember that I've played all of the games before. So, like, even though I don't remember a lot, it's like, okay, I know roughly. Like, I'll see a quest come up, and it'll be like, maybe it's not one of the side quests, but like the main quest. It's like, cool, I'm going to Orzammar now, and it's like, I know what I'm doing there, like, because I've done it before.
Just, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's one word for it.
Interesting. No doubt.
2025 survive till 2025 is not. 2025 was supposed to be better. I don't think it's gonna be.
We're missold like we'd be.
Well, somebody made the point on Bluesky where it's like the industry's not going to start getting better until a year after the money starts coming in. So like the money's not coming in yet. So we get like it's one of those things where it's like people are going to know when the recovery starts, because obviously, like, you need the money to start the recovery, and it's not instantaneous. Like, the money's not coming in, so the recovery isn't going to start for at least a year.
Yeah,
and that's only if the money starts coming in tomorrow.
And I'm also curious of just how much of recovery will actually happen at the same time, because at the end of the day, the companies don't want to. I don't think BioWare is going to get to the size it was for Anthem ever again. I think if BioWare survives, and I'm just speaking BioWare here just for context for people, we'll never get to the size and ever again. And I think EA'll just be like, we're going to keep you small, and you're going to work on a Mass Effect 5, and then if that's a success, we will look to maybe probably do Mass Effect 6.
No, Dragon Age. But no, I want, like, I don't think it's a reasonable world we live in where, like, Skyrim came out in 2011, and we're still 5 years away from the next Elder Scrolls.
Yeah,
like just for the sake of maths being easier, let's say it comes out in 2031, which I don't think is necessarily unreasonable. Like, let's say it's 6 years from now.
Yeah.
Starfield only came out 2 years ago. That's 20 years. It took them to get back to that franchise. I don't think that's reasonable.
They've had two franchises in between that where they've had incredible success with.
And
apart from Fallout 76.
Fallout 76,
which has been going well.
Made money.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think that's reasonable. Like, it's the same with Fallout, and it's the same with Starfield if they decide to make a sequel. Like, it's the size and scope of I think the size and scope of games development cycles needs to shrink. It's that old meme. I want shorter games with worse graphics, made by people being paid less. I can't remember the actual.
Paid more.
Paid more.
Paid less.
Maybe people work less. People who are working
less.
Paid more to work less. Yeah.
There you go.
I think it's just there's no doubt about work.
There's nothing stopping you.
Work smarter, not harder type of thing. That metric works perfectly here. It's just like what I said. It's just like they need to get back to what they were doing back in the pre PS3, Xbox 360 era.
Apart from the
PS4
crunch.
era. Yeah, apart from that part, there's no doubt. Take that away.
But I don't think there's anything. As long as you're making like a reasonably sized game with like reasonable graphics and all the rest, like no shrinking horse testicles, like is it unreasonable to like say like a development cycle for a large AAA game could be like 4 to 5 years without crunch?
Yeah,
it should be. That's basically what it should be, and it isn't. Because I think a lot of it's also trend chasing.
I mean, there's that too. I mean, like with the Dragon Age pivoted, sorry, got dizzy and fell over.
That's basically what it is. And whatever the next trend happens, oh God, God help us.
I don't think even God can help us now. Should we do some OpenCritic Head-To-Head?
Yeah, let's do that.
It is time for OpenCritic Head-To-Head. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games, and Moody always wins. Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of 2 games. The first one, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I guessed it would get a 70. Vitz guessed it would get a 75. Moody, you guessed it would get an 80 at the time of recording. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has an OpenCritic average of 89, which means Moody gets a point.
Well done
GG's.
to Elfie as well. She nabbed us in Fantasy Critic, so she
did.
started really well and everything.
She did last year as well.
Yeah, I thought this, going off how the what was gameplay and everything like that, this was just. I was watching it. I was just like, I think this is their Mass Effect 2 kind of thing. Like they got the game that Kingdom Come 1 sold well, I believe, for them and everything, but it was a game where I think a lot of people said you see a lot of great things here, but you're just not nailing it. And it seems like they're nailing it for this one, which is great thing to hear.
Cool.
Like I'm very interested in giving this game a go when I find a job.
I said Dragon Age. And we also try to guess the OpenCritic average of Civilization 7. I guessed it would get a 91. Vitz guessed it would get a 90. Moody guessed it would get an 89. At the time of recording, Civilization 7 has an OpenCritic average of 82, which means Moody gets another point.
How is it so low?
Yeah.
I've been reading some reviews about it, like just out of curiosity about what happened there, and it sounds interesting. Like it's more it's more divisive.
Console codes didn't go out, right?
It's more divisive than an 82 might necessarily appear.
I heard that they streamlined it a fair bit, and as I say, for review codes, as anecdotally, I hear that only PC codes went out, and this is the first game which is supposedly launching day and date on console as well. So yeah, it's interesting.
I don't live in that world anymore.
You get the points.
I voluntarily stepped out of that world.
That's fair.
It's still voluntary if Moody's screaming at you at the time, right?
Step out of what world?
The reviews world. The world of reviews and review codes and embargoes and all the bollocks.
I shouted at you through this. I wasn't next to you when I told you off.
Oh no, it was a full like every time I tell the story, I want it to get more and more grand. Oh yeah, no, he had me by the scruff of the thing. He was doing that thing where he was like screaming right in my face. Like it was pre-COVID, so it was fine.
Yeah, that makes it all the better.
Yeah. Next time I tell the story, I'm going to have you like throw me through a door or something. This week, we're going to try and guess the OpenCritic average of 4 games. The first one, Date Everything. Because we're doing this game.
Yeah, that's every game.
BioWare game.
Yeah. Did this game get delayed or has been delayed recently?
Yes. The first game is not Date Everything. The calendar I use hasn't updated, but I just went on Steam. Yes, it did. The first game is Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2.
There we go.
Which, as I explained last time, has been released in Japan. Does have Japanese reviews. I couldn't make heads or tails of them.
Wait, are we not doing
the game? It's not coming out until June, so no. It got delayed.
Yeah, because I remember seeing something on Bluesky about like from Date Everything.
Good call.
Is it because they probably needed to change the name on the game, or the game company's name on it, and they forgot to.
That's a pretty severe. Severe delay. Change the title screen.
I'm taking it. It's Team 17.
I mean, we were just talking about elongated development cycles, so maybe it does take that long to change one title screen in the game. Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2, Moody.
Yes.
What's this game again?
Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2.
Once again, that's the Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2.
Bite me both of you. What's the first one get?
Even the sequel, even though it's got reviews in Japan, if you go on the Wikipedia page, it doesn't have a reception bit like normally does. Yeah. So you can't even have Wikipedia summarize it for me.
Really, you've already run this year. Just pick a number.
You'll win anyway. You don't even just fucking pick a random number.
85.
85. Oh. I wonder where you got that number from. Vitz, what do you think?
Let's go 84, please.
86. Why not?
There you go. Box him in.
Box him in. We've got him. I bought one of the games in this series on sale over Christmas. It's one of those series where it's hard to figure out where to start from. So I just picked somewhere.
That's a strong
one.
strategy. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
Well, that was before I got into Dragon Age again, so it'll be a long time before I actually play it. It's installed, like next to Akami on my PS5 dashboard. Afterlife EP is the next game.
73.
73. Doesn't have the juice. Vitz, what say you? Should I have the juice?
I would like to go with an 81, please.
Afterlove EP. You know what? Yeah, it never fails. Fucking.
It never fails.
Lastly, game that's not coming out next week. It's coming out the Tuesday of the week after, but it's an Xbox game, so like the reviews might come early. It's Avowed. This is an interesting one.
Well, we know people have got it, so.
I'd hope so. Jesus.
Obsidian.
Well, I'm pretty sure Paris tweeted out on Bluesky or whatever saying, I've got the game. I
I
can't
love it
say
when they
much.
do that.
Of course you
I
can't,
fucking
because
hate
you
it when
just
they
got the
do
fucker.
I've got the game. Well done.
Congratulations. I'll go fucking play the fucker. Stop being on Bluesky.
Stop cloud chasing. Going, look at me.
Yeah,
I've got games that you can't play. It's like, I never used to do that one. I just want to say, I'm not trying to get on my high horse. I never used to do that shit when I was a reviewer.
Just sit there going, no.
Yeah, like, ooh, look, like when I got like Mass Effect Andromeda with the thing, like, ooh, when I got Assassin's Creed Odyssey with my little fucking promo disc, just being like, oh, look, I'm playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. What a gay old time.
No, wrong one. What was the space game called again?
The Outer
Worlds?
World.
The Outer Worlds, thank
I
you.
think Obsidian is. I don't even know who's working on this.
It's Obsidian, huh?
Well, yeah, but they've got lots of different teams.
But there's many teams.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of
know
different
that.
teams within
Yeah.
Obsidian.
There's Outer Worlds 2 apparently coming this year as well.
That's
I mean,
bonkers to me that
That
they've
team,
released two
the team
games
that
this
made
year.
Outer Worlds is just the team that's making Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah.
This is the Pillars of Eternity team. Because Avowed is a Pillars
Oh,
of
yes,
Eternity.
sorry, it is. Yeah, the PoE team.
Is a spin-off, part of the same universe. And then there's like 6 guys in out back that made Pentiment. One of the best games of the last decade. If you haven't played Pentiment, you really should. It's phenomenal.
Yep.
I saw the person who was the lead writer for Fallout New Vegas rejoined Obsidian Entertainment.
And when they the first say it's not New Vegas 2.
Well, yeah, but think about how specific he was. It's not New Vegas 2.
It's New Vegas 3.
You can call
the
it
Goat Simulator.
You can call a Fallout game anything. That's all I'm saying. He was also one of the people who designed the Nemesis system.
Wow.
Yeah, he's very,
The
very
system
talented.
Yeah, WB Montreal never used again.
Yeah. Even though it was amazing, incredible.
It was.
Groundbreaking. Should have been a game changer. And then they patented the fucking thing so nobody could use it. Stuck it in 2 more games.
We might see it come back in Wonder Woman. Who knows?
82.
82. Vitz, what do you think?
Okay, so taking into account the Xbox bump they'll get from the Xbox fans, 88 never fails.
Is it an Xbox bump? I think the people over at Xbox Era would heavily disagree with you on that one. There's a
It's gonna be a 7 out of
conspiracy.
10 all over. The reviewers just want to give Xbox games 7 out of 10s.
There's a conspiracy. The reviewers have already decided their review scores, and it's not because they're already playing the game right now. It's because they hate Xbox and they have an agenda against Xbox, and that's why Starfield reviewed so badly when it came out.
The Illuminati
what's
got
that?
together 6 months ago.
What's that? I'm getting the voice in my ear. It's telling me that Starfield didn't review badly when it came out. Oh, that's awkward.
Let's do the DLC.
Last year, the DLC. God, that was a fun podcast. Me and Moody just going through all of the OpenCritic scores for all of the Xbox exclusive games, being like, wow, that got a 90. Wow, that got a 90. Wow, that got a 90. So this conspiracy hasn't really taken off. I don't know, man. Like, I want it. Like, it's Obsidian.
It is.
Like, you want to say 90, 91, 92, all the way.
I want this game, and this isn't necessarily a review score thing. I want it. I want this game to take me away from Dragon Age. Because I love Obsidian. I love the way they make games. I love fantasy RPGs. I want to be reading shit on Bluesky and being like, maybe I don't need to play Dragon Age 2 right away. Maybe I can play Avowed first.
You wanna hear stories of that? Oh, I went this way and I had a whole different type of adventure and you can go anywhere. And you went this way and you had a completely different experience. And both are still just as valid as the other, rather than having like a kind of prescribed route that seemingly Velgar takes you through.
Sure, why not? Maybe I'll do a choice-based games topic next week. I have some things to say about choice-based games. I'm going to go with 80. I'm going to hedge my bets.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for your Mass Effect thing, so...
we're going to talk about Star Child again.
I said a topic. For the podcast. I'm not committing to it. Look, I'm not committing to any more video essays because I've had nothing but hell off of you for the last 2 years. It's not my fault.
You've a Mass Effect essay and you haven't done it.
It's not my fault that Mass Effect is a fucking mess, all right?
That's after the third one, Amy. No, you do.
The entire fucking franchise is a messy bitch, and I love it, but it's a messy bitch.
Shepard.
Rex. I'll get there. All right? And I'll dedicate the video to you. How's that sound?
All right.
Like, here you go,
N7 day this year.
I'm not agreeing to any dates. The dedication will go, this one's for you, Moody. Now shut the fuck up.
For context, Amy chose to put an 80 and 80 for Avowed.
And the Mass Effect video will also be 6 hours long, just because I know you hate long YouTube videos. And then I'm going to quiz you on it. And then I'm going to quiz you on it because you better fucking watch this fucking video, Moody.
And there's a new place to check out all of Amy's video game essay stuff.
Oh yeah, I made my personal channel and cleared it out. YouTube.com/@itsme_Amy_Kate, which is my handle on Bluesky. I was going to say my handle across social media, but I was like, I only have one now.
Yeah, there you go. It still counts. So go subscribe, everybody.
Please subscribe. My first video should be out within a month. I've worked really hard on it. I'm going to push.
Type it's me, Amy Kate. It's all words about game stuff.
Oh, you have to go to youtube.com/@itsme_Amy_Kate because my handle is in all of the descriptions of all of the podcasts.
Oh God,
it's not that hard. I can send you a link if you want.
Yeah, because it didn't work. Send me a link.
youtube.com/@itsme_Amy_Kate.
I just typed that in and it just didn't happen.
youtube.com/@itsme_Amy_Kate. It's loading. Hey, there I am.
Oh. Right.
Hello.
There you go. Well, this is thrilling.
I want to ask him if he knows how to spell Amy Kate.
I know how to spell Amy Kate.
Do you know how to spell YouTube?
Bite me.
Are you putting the apostrophe in it? Because that won't work.
No, I'm not. I'm not that stupid.
I was just checking. I was just checking.
It's time for Moody's time to shine. Moody, do you think?
Fuck off. Do it yourselves.
It's time for Vitz's time to shine. Vitz, do you think?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Take a deep breath, unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders. It's going to be okay because we're all going to get through this together. High five the sky, Vulcan salute, all that jazz. Have a good week, everybody.
I'll finish it off for you. Hello, everybody. Today, be proud. You made it. Another day is behind you. Another week has passed. Now jump up, high five that sky. Do everything else what Vitz just said. Live long and prosper. 2025 is very interesting already.